Tampa Bay. First and foremost, we want to give all the praises and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Ruchakadash.
Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone. Much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and this truth and sincerity. You know, so hey man, we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna talk about Esau. All right. You got guys out here who don't want to talk about Esau, so we're gonna talk about Esau. All right. Because what we're starting to see is the judgment of the Lord being brought down upon the world, okay? And along with the judgment that the Lord is bringing to the world, it's primarily coming up to the 2/3 of Israel, the wicked of Israel, and their daddy Esau, man. Okay, so the judgment, as the Elder Yashwamba, I believe, said, man, they go hand in hand. All right, the people, Jacob getting judged. Okay, Jacob waking up and Esau getting judged all comes in hand. Why? Because it's all prophecy, man. So we're going to bring out the prophecies of Esau's downfall, man, because that's the times that we living in. Matter of fact, somebody started, he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Start off with that. Yeah, Malachi, you get it.
It's the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2. Start at verse.
You see, the Lord, all right, is allowing this devil to do his bidding on the earth, allowing him to and Esau is so prideful that he believes that he's doing his own will, okay, but the Lord is allowing him to do his so-called will upon the earth, man, which we know that the ways of man is not of his own, but the Most High who directs his steps. So the Lord is allowing this devil to move on the earth, to do these things, to bring about the CHIP, okay, the micro stick, all right?
The USB drive.
Yeah, the USB
That's what we should
drive.
start saying.
Yeah. The Lord gave him the knowledge to bring about that technology. He gave him the technology and the knowledge to create nuclear weapons, okay? He gave him the technology to create the internet. So the Lord has allowed this devil to build these things all for what? For the coming and day of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, man. Okay? So get that real quick.
This is the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 5.
And if you don't want to hear about Esau, man, then go ahead and click off the video. Don't watch, because we're going to talk about the nigga E today, the so-called white man. So you know. Go ahead.
It reads, "Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time."
That he might be revealed, man. So if we ain't talking about Esau, then who the hell's supposed to be talking about Esau? The scripture said that he got to be revealed. Who the hell is out? The Christian church ain't exposing Esau. They exposing themselves, man. They're not even telling you who Esau is. You go to a church and ask people who the hell, hey, who's Jacob and who's Esau? Or who was Esau? A little kid will be able to answer that before grown-ass people in the church do, man. Go ahead. Let's see what's happening. This damn devil, the deeds that he's doing on the earth and that he's gonna do on the earth, they're being revealed to the world. Okay? They're being brought out to the light. Okay, because this devil has lived in the dark for a long time with no exposure.
And if anybody doesn't want to expose them, it's because they teach Yahushai for strife and contention.
Right.
Because we're supposed to speak on Esau. Oh, all you do is pick up the. Right. Of course, who else we gonna speak? Who's the wicked? But you know, if you want to just, you know, yeah, of course we get on our people. But if you're not teaching prophecy, then that's a problem, man.
What a lot of people want to do, though, they want to talk about Great Millstone. They want to talk about different.
You become obsessed. You get an unhealthy infatuation.
Unhealthy.
That leads to suicide.
Depression. Go to suicide.
Yeah.
Go ahead. This is the book of 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 7. "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work."
Yeah, who's the mystery of iniquity, man? Even to this day, he's still a mystery. And iniquity is wickedness, man. So who's the mystery of wickedness? Well, it's Esau Edom, man. Barak, get real quick, Malachi 1:4. Okay? We're going to identify the man today. you don't want to do it, that's okay, that's fine. The prophets are going to do it though, because that's our job, is to prophesy, man, to say before. Because hey, the whole earth is going to eventually know who the hell the devil is when he comes down upon them having great wrath. When those floodgates are opened up and he comes in and sweeps these people up, then the world is going to know who the devil is, because it's going to be made plain. What else can you say in that day when this man it got you hemmed up? He can come in and do, and you see the laws being put into place.
Yeah.
You know, for this devil to do whatever he wants, which is gonna come.
I just seen this movie last night. It's called The Humanity Bureau. It's with Nicolas Cage. And bro's gotta watch that shit. It's literally, it's based in 2030.
Netflix.
It's no, it was on Amazon Prime. But it's based in 2030, the year 2030, and the earth has ran out of resources. There's no water, clean water. The soil doesn't grow anything. And then the dude is called a Humanity Bureau. It's like a branch of another branch of the government. And what he does is he goes around seeing if people can go to the New Eden. You know, so and you know what's that likened unto? You're gonna be ostracized from society because people that was not in the main cities, the green zones, the safe zones, they had to fend for themselves, figure it out. Right. So his job was to go to those people and to see if they was check their numbers, their credit scores and shit like that. Yep. And bro, it's spiritual because they're like, oh, you gotta produce. You know, you can't just be consuming. You got to be a producer in this society. If not, we'll send you. If not, we'll come in and send you to New Eden. And what New Eden was a crematory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you brothers got to watch that shit, bro. Yeah, it was a death camp, bro.
And you talked about it in your video. You just put up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you talk about 2030.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these
that's right around the corner.
Yeah, that's right around the corner. But more than likely, we might not see 2030.
Exactly. Ain't no way.
Rush these things into fruition now.
Yeah,
right?
Lords, we'll watch that movie one day.
And see, that's the spirit that it was in 2030, because the scripture says, for the elect's sake, the days shall be short. Because if not, that's exactly what will happen. There will be no resources. You'll be living in complete hell, depending completely on this devil.
No clean, drinkable water. What's going on in Mississippi? Right. They can't even brush your teeth. Motherfuckers are scared to take a shower in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yep.
So this isn't far-fetched. And this movie's from 2020. So, it's not a brand new movie. So, but they already been showing you. If it came out in 2020, they recorded it in 2018, 2019.
Right.
And now it's a good movie. It's kind of slow, but it builds up and whatnot. It's a good movie. They show a lot in there. It's a whole agency, which the IRS. Pretty much he was an IRS agent. He would come and check your numbers. He had a pistol though. What they just do?
They just do that.
What they just do? They just armed the IRS. So I was like, man, bro's gotta watch that movie, man. It's called Humanity Bureau. It's with Nicolas Cage.
Go
ahead,
Just read that whole verse. It's the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build in desolate places.
Yeah, see, and that happened. Man. The downfall of the Roman Empire came about, and Esau was pushed to the outskirts, the hills, to the what do they call the Caucasus Mountains. When he was living up there like a brute beast that he is, okay, he was impoverished, man. And Jake ruled in Europe for a time, but then guess what? Then he came back into Renaissance, the rebirth of his empire again. Go ahead.
Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they should build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever.
Yeah, see, so this is why we got to talk about this, man, because he is the border of wickedness. You got to understand that when you come across these devils, you're going to find wickedness. So it would behoove you to know who that man is. And what does it say in Acts chapter 8? How can I lest someone teach me? So if you ain't talking about it, how are the people supposed to learn? You're talking about Jake got to wake up.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a nigga woman spirit, bro. Disgruntled nigga woman spirit.
Bro, what is Jake supposed to wake up to if you ain't expounding onto him the devil, the wicked one? And to refrain from them, because the scriptures say to refrain. What does the light have to do with darkness?
Right. There's no fellowship.
Yeah, you're not telling people who Esau is. Then you might be leading these people or allowing these people, or keeping that mindset in them that it's okay to continue to be around these devils and to make friends and to. No, man, these devils are wicked. Just because you're cool with one or two, you still don't fully trust them, man.
right? we deal with them on a, with guile and, with wisdom. You might have to make friends with one on some business type shit or whatever, or for work or whatever the case is. But we understand that these men are the devil, man. All right. So we had to prophesy against them in their kingdom. They're all confederate with this kingdom. So you're gonna have a man saying, "Oh, we don't need to talk about that," when Esau is the end of the world. Okay. So we're not going to talk about it. We have to talk about it because we're prophesying the end of the world. Okay, we're not going to sit here and talk about this camp. Or there's a time and a season for everything. Yeah, you do have to get off some of these other camps. All right, but everything is there. Again, there's a balance for everything. You got people that's coming against us, like we the evil ones.
Right. That was it on that. Yeah, man. So they said the border of wickedness, man. So anywhere these devils go, that's where wickedness is. And then it said, what the end of that say after that?
The people against whom Yahweh have indignation forever.
So should you not want to know who the hell this is that the Lord has indignation with forever? Who the Lord hates forever?
That's what I'm saying.
Golly, who is that guy? Who is Edom? Like, you should want to know, and when you want to know, you're going to search out who's teaching who this guy is. Who's teaching?
And real quick, because King David was known as a man after the Most High's heart. And so we know who the Lord hates, and we know what type of mindset we got to be in, you know? Amongst the house of David.
Yeah, King David hated Edomites, right?
Yeah. Hey, even Job wrote, who I disdain. Was that King David?
Nah, it was Job.
Yeah, it was Job. I know I disdain to put with my dogs, man. He didn't want
Faces of men.
Yeah,
he was the one that said
dogs
it.
around these damn weirdos, man. You just had this one Edomite. I seen the thumbnail with the title on World Star. Dude talking about he exposed himself. Some Edomite talking about the shit that he does with his dog. He's like, and the caption was, "I control where the cum goes."
Oh no,
Like, bro, this is the man. But we're not supposed to talk about it. Come on, man. We gotta bring this man out. Continuing that until he be taken out of the way. Go ahead.
Going back in 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 7, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way.
So I can read that again.
That's the book of 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
Yeah, that's the mystery of iniquity, man. The border of wickedness, Esau, Edom. Go ahead.
Only
And it said doth already work because they were in power when that precept was written down, man. The Roman Empire. Okay? Go ahead.
only he who now letteth will let.
Yeah, that's the Most High. The Most High is allowing this devil to continue to rule. He allowed him to be wounded. He lost his power for a moment and then came back and got let loose a little season to deceive the people of the world again. So now that the light is shining on the earth, because the men of the Lord have received the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which is the light, okay, the word is exposing these people, man. Go ahead.
Reads on, it says, until he be taken out of the way.
Until he be taken out of the way, man. So the Most High is allowing this devil to reign until he be taken out of the way. And guess what? When he gets taken out of the way, that's prophecy, man, because it's prophesied that that day is coming. Throughout those scriptures, man, the downfall of Esau Edom is prophesied to come, man. So this is a part of prophecy to talk about Esau Edom and his downfall, man. Okay, which is what we're going to get into today. All right. That was it on that one? Okay. Yeah, Con, you had some, yeah, I got that on 28. Con, yeah, hold that. You had a quick one? I heard somebody say something. Okay, Con, keep going then.
Verse 8, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
Yeah, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his what? His mouth, man. His prophets. The prophets are the what? The ones who the secrets have been revealed to. And the Lord said to go out onto the highways and the byways. Okay? And to warn my people, which is what we're doing. And who are we warning them from? The Lord and the wicked, whom the Lord is sending. Esau is going to be that flood that's going to come upon you, man. So come on, man. It don't make no sense. Some of these guys, man, when they hurt, man, they just start spewing madness, man. Yeah, just because.
just because I don't like it.
I got a problem with those guys doing the opposite of what they say. When you following guys like that, man, the scripture say, blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. These men are leading you to your death. Okay? They're not leading you to salvation. They may tell you one, two good things, but the majority of the things they're saying is destroying your spirit. It's corrupting you.
Yeah, and it's not like they're teaching false doctrine, false prophecies. They're starting to change up the prophet, which that could be next. But what they're teaching is not the doctrine that they were taught. Right. That they're not continuing no longer in the things that they were taught in there. So the things that we were taught, okay, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai that was given unto our apostles and elders, was to come out and prophesy the downfall of Esau, Edom, which we always start off camps at. What we say, we're coming out here another week in, week out, to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, America, okay, and to warn our people of what's to come. So again, it's hand in hand, man. You can't just talk about one and not forget about the other rest. Because what are you waking Jacob to? That they're Israelites? There's plenty of Jakes that know that they're Israelites, man. But they still out here walking in La La Land because they don't understand that the system that is set up, which was in place by Esau Edom, the devil himself, is made for them to fail. So they continue in that system. Okay?
Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17, right to the point. Ezekiel 3 and 17, son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel, my mouth, and give them warning from me.
Yeah, so you warning your people of what? An enemy that's approaching. Now we know the Lord is the one sending him, but that's still Esau Edom that's approaching, man. And he's taking steps day by day, man. You just had good old Brandon on TV the other day talking about these extremists, the MAGA guys. Come on, man, you got to be able to read between the lines with these devils, man. They talking about you Israelites out here, man. Y'all the main targets, man. Do you really see MAGA people out here doing what the men of the Lord are doing? No, man. Week in and week out. Now they doing their own shit. They got things going on, but that's not really the big objective behind Esau, man. Behind wanting to come down against anybody who comes up against the system. The main reason is to come down on you Israelites. Y'all the main target of Esau's MO, man. This is why he creates these certain factions to create some type of division and dissent, so that the people can be like, yeah, we got to take these guys out of the way.
Well, but at the end of the day, a lot of these so-called MAGA guys, they're hardcore Christians, right? Right. So they believe in the Bible. Okay, well, we got to get rid of this Bible. All right, who's really preaching the Bible out here and putting lies up on the line to preach the words of God, as you would say, as the world would say? The Israelites. Okay, so at the end of the day, as the brother is saying, yeah, it's really a coup to get rid of Jake, the Israelites. All right, to get rid of the truth from off the highways and hedges. So all these little things are put into place to ultimately bring in what we call the famine of the word.
Right. That was something that Biden said in that speech, man. Is like these guys hate the truth, and they live in lies. When it's completely, see, it's words like that. Whenever you hear the word truth, you already know what they're talking about, man. They talking about the men who out here talking about they got the 100% truth. They coming after those that are calling themselves preaching the truth, man, of the Bible. But see, you got to know who this man is, man. That's the wicked one that we spoke of in 2 Thessalonians, man. All right? Go ahead. Or Quan, that was it?
Yeah, that was it. Okay.
Or continue on that? Or you have something?
Yeah, just to back up. All right, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. Hey, want to get on camera? Keep going on. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And that's exactly what do I say something? No, I'm saying that's exactly what we all had to do, man. Speak the prophecy. Like what the brother wanted to about Esau, being revealed, that's a prophecy. You know, because hey, our people don't know who the wicked is. They tell you in the book of Revelation that the devil is going to come down with great wrath. So this is what we got to do. We got to prophesy to our people. warn the people. Ultimately, it's the Lord bringing forth these famines, these plagues, this pestilence. But who is he using? He's using Esau, Edom, the devil, man.
His left hand, which is thy sword, man. Scripture says, deliver me from the wicked, who is thy sword, man. Who got the blessing of the sword? Esau, Edom, right? He's the one that the Lord is using to jack you people up. That he's going to use to jack, really finish the majority of you Israelites off, man.
Time of Jacob's trouble is going to be really headed by that man. Okay? He's going to be the one that's bringing the trouble.
That's the thing. If you ain't speaking on Esau, then how's you warning the people about Jacob's trouble? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to speak on this because that's the devil that's come down with that great wrath. You know.
Going back in 2 Thessalonians.
something real quick?
I'll just.
Oh, okay. All right. No, go ahead.
It's the book of 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 8 again. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
See, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. See, right now, Esau's being consumed by the mouth of the Lord, man, through his prophets. By us bringing out these, speaking about the devil, man. So that right there is telling you that we got to be talking about this. Because the Lord power surely doeth nothing, man. But he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So those are the men that are going to be speaking the words of the Lord.
The Lord won't bring it to pass unless it's been spoken about.
Right.
The Lord is fair.
Right.
Like he can do whatever he wants ultimately, but the Lord is fair, so he's gonna make it known that okay, yeah, I'm about to bring destruction. It's gonna be through these people, all right, and you need to watch out for these signs. So the Lord is bringing it. Who's talking about it? The prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which everybody seems to not believe, and everybody seems to wave their hand at. Oh, you know what? Well, that's the Lord. That's the mouth of the Lord.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked should not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
See, and that's the thing. Our people, because of lack, are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So their hand is joined with Esau because they don't know no better to let go. Now you have those that know better because they've heard about this truth and they still holding on to his hand. But our people got to be told who they holding on to is the devil, and he's leading them into a ditch, man.
Sorry, John.
Yeah, brother just read that the Lord said he gonna destroy him at the brightness of his coming. Hey, so if you found joined with that devil, man, you go suffer his destruction right along with him.
Because if you agree with him, on a social level, you agree with his culture, you agree with anything that he's about. All right, the scripture said, "Come out of her, my people." So mentally, you already attached to this man. So when he goes to put forth his mark, all right, you already mentally with him. So anything that he's with, you spiritually still attached to him. So anything that he puts forth, you are the people that's going to end up taking his mark, man. So you're going to be destroyed anyways,
Going back in 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
That's right. That was one else. Go ahead and get the overdone. You have something?
Yeah, Ezekiel 33, but
We'll go ahead and get that thing.
There's Ezekiel 33. We're talking about the sword, which we know the wicked, which is thy sword. Psalm 17 chapter, talking about Esau. Ezekiel 33, started at the top, verse 1. It says again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coasts and set him for their watchman, verse 3, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people.
Yeah, see, this is what we're commanded to do. Seeing the sword coming, we got to warn our people, man. Because if not, the brother's going to get into what happens. So if you don't want to talk about Esau, you're going to have a lot of blood on your hands, man. No? Go ahead.
Yep. Ezekiel 33, verse 4.
And that's a terrible thing. Look, you got your blood and the blood of a lot of wicked niggas that died in their iniquity. Well, go ahead, because the scripture goes into it.
Yep. Ezekiel 33, verse 4. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning,
if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
Yeah, see? So this is what we're doing. We're trying to get off the blood of a lot of these men that don't want to hear it. And not just men, but you get what I'm trying to say. These Israelites, I'll say, for those of you with lack of understanding, we warning you Israelites that the sword is coming, and if you don't want to take heed, that's fine. We did our job. But guess what now? Now you're dead. And your blood is upon your head. Go ahead.
Yep. Ezekiel 33 verse 5, he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul.
See? Now, if you get warned, if you're being warned of the sword, and you take heed and prepare yourself, and how do you prepare yourself? By coming to the Lord. So when you come to the Lord and seeking that preparations, you saving your soul. So this is a part of exposing this devil is also a part of saving our people, man. It's needful to speak on this damn devil, man. It's necessary. Go ahead,
Baby.
Ezekiel 33 verse 6, but if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity.
Yep.
But his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
Yeah, so see, that man's still going to die. The wicked, he didn't take heed. At this point, he didn't hear you talk about the sword that's coming. So he's still going to die in his wickedness, but now his blood is required at your hands. Because you didn't warn him of the sword, of the enemy that was coming. Okay? So see, you don't want to talk about Esau, you don't want to talk about Edom, then hey, you're going to have to take into account all the blood that's going to be on your hands, man. Go ahead.
Yep, I'll stop here. Ezekiel 33 verse 7, so thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel, therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me.
And warn them from me. Hear it at the mouth of the Lord, because we got the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding was given unto us. It was poured into us. Okay, us being those new vessels. Okay, that wine was poured into us, and now we go and warn the people from the Lord, because He's the one that's sending the sword. Okay. Can I add something else?
I'll bring the scripture first. Book of Isaiah 62, verse 7. Isaiah 60. I'm sorry. Is that right? Verse 6. You got it. What? Isaiah 62, verse 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence.
Yeah, keep not silence, man. Silence about what? What is a watchman supposed to be not silence about? About the warnings. You got to be warning of the enemy. If a watchman is silent, then what's his use? You are better than a dead lion, man. Okay, at least like the scripture says, a living dog is better than a dead lion. Okay, the dog is still gonna bark. The dog, he might be just a dog compared to a lion, but at least the dog barks and lets you know the enemy is here. Somebody's afoot.
Still bite, still bark. Right. That lion's much stronger than a dog, but at the end of the day, if it's dead, what good is it? All right.
The lion doesn't protect you. Dogs do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you have a cat, you know. Nigga break in the house, the cat's gonna be in the corner chilling. A dog just instinctively knows to protect the owner, or to bark, to warn. Lion ain't barking. They can roar, but they don't bark. You know?
Right.
It's how much more a dead one, you know?
It says, next verse, verse 7, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth.
Yeah. See, and give him no rest, man. So we don't continue to talk about Esau, because that's the job of a watchman.
Right.
Watchmen, which are the prophets. If you're not watching for the enemy and not resting day or night, and you're keeping quiet, then you're not a watchman. That means you're not a prophet. So what the hell are you doing? You're just being a nigga.
You got cats out here saying that, oh, you just read prophecies. You ain't prophesying, you just reading prophecies. Well, what do? We filter what we see through the Holy Scriptures. Which a lot of these so-called Israelite camps out here are not doing that. So when we see something happen in the world, we go directly to the Scriptures. We'll go to the article, We'll read the article and then we'll go and we'll filter that article through the Holy Scriptures and say, okay, we'll see how this applies to this time. See what Isaiah said. You see what Malachi was saying. You see what Ezra was saying.
Right. Well, get that real quick. Now that you brought it back, get that Jeremiah 28:8 real quick.
I got it right here. Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8.
Because this is what all the prophets of old did, man. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. Salakia. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms.
Yeah, this is the kingdom of Esau, man, that we living under. Okay, it's disguised as the beast. Okay, that's his official title in the system. But who's running it? It's Esau, Edom. This is Esau's kingdom right now. This ain't the kingdom of Israel that we living in, man. So we prophesied against the kingdom of Esau, just like the prophets of old. Go ahead.
If I can make a point real quick too, when Yahushua came on the scene, right? We read Isaiah, where you can read account Luke 4:17. He came to heal the brokenhearted, and he said, "This day is this fulfilled." But when it already written down,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of things Yahushua did, it was already written down, right? From the prophets of old. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all just read.
Did he actually say that? No, the prophet Isaiah said it. Moses prophesied of him. He just fulfilled the things. It was prophesied that we would come out here in a lot of times to do this.
So if you're saying it about us, you would have to say that about the Lord.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Now Yahushua is the word, but he's not the word in us.
Yeah.
So,
That didn't make sense. That y'all just read prophecy. What are we supposed to? What else are we supposed to do?
the Lord ain't talking to nobody down here like that, man. The Lord ain't talking to you. You know,
Exactly.
The spirit of Yahushua is prophecy, man.
That's right. God.
And we speak prophecy. We update the prophecy, so to say, because now we can show you where it's happening.
Yep.
Real quick, let me get this real quick.
And by update, the brothers meaning updating, bringing out the info.
Yeah, exactly.
That's coming
Exactly.
out here.
Yeah,
Not changing
update
anything.
it to modern terms, because the prophets of old wrote it down in old terms. Well, we can give it to you in new speaks, as the apostles be going into. Okay, let me get this in First Chronicles. It says First Chronicles, or it's like a Second Chronicles 36:12. It says, and he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh his power, talking about Zedekiah, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord. There you go. Jeremiah wasn't making shit up. He was speaking from the mouth of the Lord. But guess what? We reading the words of Jeremiah, but that was the words of the Lord.
Read that one more time.
This is Second Chronicles 36 and 12. It says, well, I'll start at 11. It says, Zedekiah was 120 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh his power, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah. So he was the king. And it said he didn't humble himself amongst this young man Jeremiah, right? Before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord. So hey, Zedekiah didn't want to humble himself to the prophets, or to this particular prophet, as the scripture said, that was speaking from the mouth of the Lord.
And real quick, before we read on, the prophet is the highest office that can be granted to any man on the earth. Man.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I got another one.
Getting the word directly from the Lord. Like
Yeah, another
the
one.
Kings and everything.
Exactly. The kings have to humble themselves to the prophets.
As you hear.
Is it Hosea 6 and 5? Therefore have I hewed them by the prophets.
Yep.
I have slain them by the words of my mouth. And thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth.
Prophet.
See? So this is what we got to be doing out here, man. Warning our people. Letting these people know that what we're talking about is prophecies, that this devil's coming, man. If you're not talking about that, or if you're not talking about prophecies in general, then what are you doing, man? No, now we do exhortations, okay, but at the same time we mix it in.
That's still the
with
mouth of the
prophecy.
Lord.
Right.
You know?
Our main job is to do prophecies. We're gonna exhort. We still do exhortation videos. We still do correction videos. We still do rebukes. We do all those.
But we don't become obsessive with it, you know. Like we just
Our main job as watchmen, as prophets, is to prophesy.
Yes.
Now you have other duties as well, which we do those things. We're supposed to exhort and rebuke and teach, and But our main job is prophets, man.
Yeah, is that like we can admonish you once or twice, and then we're moving on. We're not gonna make our whole ministry about you. That's not healthy. That's not even biblical.
All two of you.
Yeah, all two of you. Yeah, the house of David. All two of you.
It's 1 Corinthians 14:1. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts, but rather that ye may prophesy.
See, so above all, but rather that ye prophesy, man. Read the first part again.
1 Corinthians 14:1. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts.
Desire spiritual gifts. So the most gift that you're supposed to desire is the gift of prophecy, man. Because anybody can just read the scriptures as these guys are saying that we just doing, but it's a different thing to break it down. That's another story, man, which is what the prophets do. The prophets would do what? They would get the vision from the Lord, and they would break it down to the people so that they could get it, because the Lord doesn't deal with these other people in the way he deals with his men. We're in the vision, as it says in Habakkuk 2, make it plain upon tables that he that readeth may run. But it said to write it plain upon tables, man, to be easily understood. So we give the prophecies that are written down already. Now the Lord ain't dealing with us where he's giving us the visions, and sometimes brothers still do get visions. Brothers that have dreams of some things that they see in the visions, and it's biblical events happening in the dreams, and brothers go do a video and break it down. Use the words of the Lord with the scriptures to break it down. And in some cases, either those events have happened in the brother's dream, or they are gonna happen, man.
Or they've already been prophesied. It's the same. It's the same prophecy.
Right.
Just you got the Lord gave you that, just like Daniel and John, which they could have been the same person through the Spirit, but it was the same prophecy, just different ways of seeing it in the visions. So you get a vision, and then you go back to the scriptures and break it down. It's because it's the same vision. You know, it's the same prophecy. That's why you're able to break it down through the scriptures.
You got this man seeing nuclear missiles, this brother seeing nuclear missiles, this prophet seeing nuclear missiles.
And they saw arrows in their visions.
Right, arrows.
Or stars, or whatever the case may be, or an actual beast.
Yeah.
With 7 heads. But now we can update it to
They didn't have the
you know.
interpretation back then. They just making it plain upon
It was for the let's say Habakkuk. It was for the
vision chapter the 20th time.
Exactly. At the end it shall speak. At the end you will be able to understand it.
Right.
You know.
Like John, he didn't say RFID.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
So what we have to prophesy what that Mark was talking about in these times. You know what I mean?
Plain now.
Mark, you had something?
Yeah, I was trying to find in Revelation where the Lord told, he was talking about John the Revelator. I'll start at verse 10. Yeah, I'll start at verse 10. Revelation 10, in verse 10 it says, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up.
Yeah, this is the little book, the scriptures, man. And ate it up, meaning we ingested it. We ingested these words. Okay, we broke it down because your body, once it ingests the food, it starts to break it down and it absorbs what it needs to, and that's what we do with the word, man. We break it down and absorb it.
Yeah, and it's that little book compared because there's you go according to this world, there's libraries full of books. All we need is that little book, man. You give a damn about them libraries of Congress and the local libraries. That's all. Yeah, you might get some good information, but that's not pertaining to salvation.
Only for backs up this.
Yep.
Revelation 10 and verse 10, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth, sweet as honey, and as soon as I had eaten it up, my belly was bitter. And the point of verse 11 is...
That's this word, man. That's the knowledge. It's sweet in your mouth. You learn about these things. You learn how we going to be on top. You learn about Esau and how he going to be brought down. And it's sweet. But hell yeah. We gonna get our foot on the necks of these heathens, the top of your lungs. But then it becomes bitter, because then you got to deal with what comes after that, which is the temptations, the troubles, the persecutions falsely for my name's sake. Okay.
Quick one, just to go with what you just said. Psalms 116. Psalms 116 and verse 10. I believe. Therefore have I spoken, and like you said, what come after that is, I was greatly afflicted.
There you go. You believe, therefore you said what? Therefore have I spoken?
Yeah. Psalms 116 and verse 10, I believe, therefore have I spoken. The
Okay, you
scriptures-
go out, you do your videos, right? You start bringing the prophecies out that you read about in the scriptures that you're now getting understanding, and you warn others. Yeah. But then comes the after.
Yeah. I was greatly afflicted.
Yeah. Then those afflictions start to come. To see, so and it's not so much afflictions, but so more of wisdom trying you by her ways, man.
What's it say in Sirach? Come to serve the Lord, prepare that soul for temptation. So we will catch on temptation. First you believe, then you do the work, and then you're gonna get afflicted. Right. In that order right there. Yeah. And the brother reading here. Yeah. Read that one.
Yep. Revelation chapter 10 and verse 11, it says, "And he said unto me, Thou shalt prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings."
Yeah, again, so John the Revelator, okay, the third in command
Son of
of all
Zebedee.
Israel, is what? He's doing the same thing that he was doing back then. Okay, prophesying. All right, and so are the rest of the men of the Lord, those that believed on the Lord, man. I thought that Lord was about to break that glass. But hey, man, this is what we were called to do. You had one real quick, and then you got it. Yeah.
It's the book of Hosea, chapter 12, verse 10. "I have also spoken by the prophets."
There you go. Lord's will is was edifying. Until next week, shalom. Read it again. Let me be sure.
Verse 10, "I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes."
See, so the Lord multiplied visions, used similitudes, things. Matter of fact, somebody, let me get that word. Read that again from the top. Let me be sure. What verse?
Hosea 12 and 10.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the book of Hosea 12 and 10. "I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes
Use similitudes, go ahead.
by the ministry of the prophets."
By the ministry of the prophets. Okay, by the teaching of what the by the coming together, because the ministry is just not two random dudes out on the side of the road, man. Is a camp. All right. So let me get that word there for similitude, and use similitudes, right? To be like, resemble. So what are the prophets seeing? Things that resembled what the prophets saw in their visions. So what are we doing? We're seeing those things that resemble the similitudes, and we're teaching those things, man. We're prophesying about what those similitudes are, man. So now the prophets both saw the visions of the missiles, like the brother said earlier, the USB drive that John saw. But now we're actually seeing the actual technology coming out, and we bringing it out. Like the brother said, we updating you on what it's giving you a clear picture of what it was. What's the Kanaka knows precept? Look through a glass, darkly lit, dim, something like that. Get that real quick, both for sure.
Yeah, here it is that they've updated the Bible 100,000 times to make it plain English, but we can't update the prophecies to make it more understandable. Use new tech. Obviously, they didn't have technology. Period. You know, as far as like what we see today. So obviously, we got to say it a different way for you to get it, and we got to read the scripture first to do that.
Because the Roman Empire is not ruling now. So now we're having to say, okay, this is like what the Roman Empire was doing when the prophets wrote this, but now it's America. See, this is what the Lord did, is made similar situations so that the prophets in those times would prophesy about the same thing using the modern things that were happening, right?
They didn't have America during Rome.
Right.
I'm gonna start at 9. The point is at 12. 1 Corinthians 13 and 9. 1 Corinthians 13 and 9. It says, "For we know in part, and we prophesy in part."
We know in part and we prophesy in part, because there's certain things that we have an understanding of what it's talking about, but it's not clearly seen yet. So we know in part and we prophesy in part. Okay, go ahead.
But when that which is perfect is come.
Because what now? Those similitudes start. Those things that were happening back then are start to happen now. Okay. I see when the Crown Vic came out. Then we started to see. Now we see how Esau's going to bring out that USB drive. Now it's becoming clearer.
Right.
Of what this devil is going to do.
Right, real quick, because in like 2016, we can only speculate how it's going to come out.
Right.
And a lot of us was right. We said, "Oh, it's probably going to be some sort of pandemic," you know, and it ended up being that. Okay.
Hey, prophesied, right?
Yeah, prophesied.
But what we always stuck to is the buying and selling, that it was the chip, man.
How it was going to be forwarded, we didn't know. We prophesied it.
Scripture didn't tell you specifically.
Right.
It just tells you that he causes all will small great.
Right.
Now we understand how he's pushing that causes and all, you know.
It's clear. It's plain. They see now. Yeah.
Back in 1 Corinthians 13 and 10, but when that which is perfect is come,
Match maybe.
all right,
Yeah.
All right, I got read again, brother.
it says,
Finish the verse off
1
first.
Corinthians 13 and 10, but when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away.
Yeah, see, the things that we clearly don't see yet, but we're prophesying about it, then it's going to be clearly seen, and the prophecy will have been perfected. It will have been finished. Now, Victor.
Yeah, the word perfect in the etymology line, it goes into flawless, ideal, also complete, full, finished, lacking in no way.
Yeah, lacking in no way, man. You see, because right now we prophesy about Revelation 13, 16 on down, but it's still not fully clear of Esau actually doing it. Okay?
Yeah, like what event's gonna lead to
Right,
that?
exactly.
You don't know.
There's many
We just know it's
different
coming.
scenarios
Yeah.
that brothers can prophesy about, but that doesn't mean that they're not prophesying.
But so that's the point. That's why we gotta read the prophecy
Exactly.
over and over if we have to.
Stick
Shit.
to the script.
Yep.
Okay? We just regurgitating what we were doing back in those days, man, because we were the prophets of old, man.
It's like knowing the plot of the movie. You know the plot, the main key points, but you don't know. You have to watch the movie to find out how exactly those plots come about. You know, you watch the trailer, but you don't know how. Oh shit, that was a crazy ass scene, but you don't know what's gonna lead up to that. You gotta watch the movie.
Or you get a book, you read the back of the book.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, okay, it's basically what the book is about. But in order for you to get the understanding of it, you have to read the book and go through actual scene by scene and page chapter by chapter. And that's what we're doing through our regular lives in order to understand prophecy.
Yeah, living it.
Real quick, then I'm going to go back to Corinthians because you got to get one you want. 2 Ezra 4 and 37, it says, by measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times. And he does not move, no stir them, until the said measure be fulfilled.
Right? Yeah. Seven
That's the
can't.
parts, you know?
Yeah, 7 can't come until you go through 6. You can't go 1, 2, 7, 4, 3. No, man, it got to be in order. Okay, like the brother read, man, it's been numbered in a set order, man. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, verse 11, it says, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child. That's why. You know, that's like the brother said, that's the stages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Right.
You work your way up to being an adult and eventually elder. You know? It says, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. So he gave you a carnal example right after he was speaking about basically when the part should be fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 12, this is one you want, brother. It says, for now we see through a glass darkly. And when you was a child, you don't fully understand everything. You know what I'm saying? You had to grow up, that's right. And then when you become a man, all right, then you come into that full understanding.
You go through experiences,
Exactly.
you learn from people that have been through it already, and then it gets clear. Right?
Yeah.
And
It
it
says,
becomes clear. It said darkly.
It says, for now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face.
And then face to face, meaning clear as day.
Which is what John saw a vision,
Right.
all right? And you can say that was darkly because he didn't know
No
it.
understanding.
Exactly, he had no understanding of it. Now we here seeing it face to face.
Yeah, because he was prophesying things to come that hadn't happened yet. Now a lot of those things have already happened, so we're able to, break it down. He physically, that was the dreams that he was having, and as he wrote it, that's exactly what he was seeing. You know, but it's symbolic because it didn't mean what he was seeing. Like, was it gonna mean a dragon was gonna come out of the ocean with 7 heads?
Yeah, right.
You know, locust. Yeah,
That's what he saw.
But exactly, that's what he saw, though. Yeah.
But now, guess what? John's back here again, and he's actually prophesying to what that dragon was that he saw back then. He might not know he's John, but he's out here teaching the true meaning of the vision, man. Right, get real quick. That was it on that?
I gotta finish it.
Okay.
It says, "For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known."
Yeah, exactly. How did the precept start? I know in part and I prophesy in part. That's right. So now that it's become clearer, now that we know, now we fully prophesy and break it down and fully expound upon what it means, man. Because before we wrote those things down, we were those men of old. Some men, all the books that are written aren't in the small book, man. Right. Okay.
Then you think about a watchman, you're on a high tower, you can see far out. You know, we can't really see, you know, especially if it's far out. You see our enemies coming, but you maybe see a few weeks out before returning, but eventually, oh, that's the Persians, or well, that's such and such. But you speak when an enemy's coming, and as time gets closer and closer, again, the enemy approaches, you can speak more clearly because why? Because now they're right in front of you.
Right. Go ahead. Revelation chapter 22, verse 10. And he saith unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. Yeah, so we gotta come out and speak. And now things are more practical and made whole. You know, they brothers wanted to. We know in part and we prophesy in part. Hey, but that's why we had to continue through the spirit of power, Yahweh to speak. Hey, because what? The time is at hand. Now things are being made known. Now it's understandable. Like we're quoting the book of Habakkuk. The time is the vision is yet from the appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. All right. Hey, the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So you got these same men coming back, carnation after carnation, hey, and pushing the word, man. And now the vision is made plain, you know. You got it, Mario.
You had something real quick? All right, go ahead. Speak to it.
Yeah, I can read this. Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. It says, "Blessed is he that readeth."
Yeah, hey, blessed is he that reads, man, because that's what you first got to do. You got to read the word and then go out and prophesy. You see? You don't just read the word and then that's it. You just sit on it, man. You can't sit on your talents. If you're one of those guys, what's the Lord going to say to you, man? You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I was an austere man. And you didn't give me what was mine with usury. Meaning you didn't build upon it. You didn't bring back more fruit than what I gave you. See, this is why we come out here, man. Prophesying so that we can bring more fruit back to the Lord, man. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand."
Yeah, the time is at hand. The time when the scriptures talk about, I think it's 2nd Ezra chapter 9. I may be wrong, but it goes beginnings and signs and wonders, and endings and signs and effects, man. The signs and effects of what? The visions that were shown in the beginning, man. That were shown before time. Well, I think like chapter 9. Chapter 9, okay. Get there. Oh, you got it? All right, this one got it. Go ahead. Let me get straight to the point. Yeah, straight to the point.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, verse 6. "Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works
And beginnings and wonders, powerful works. The powerful works, so visions were a part of the powerful works, man. The Lord coming down onto Mount Sinai and speaking with Moses, man. That's a powerful work. People seeing the Lord coming down, burned the whole mountain because the presence of the Lord was there, man. That was a powerful work, man. And what did the Lord do? He expounded onto Moses everything that was written, and he showed him the beginnings. Those were powerful works. Jeremiah being given visions, the prophecies, all the prophets of old, the things that were done unto them, those were powerful works of the Lord, man. Go ahead.
Going back in verse 6. "Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs."
And endings and effects and signs. Effects of what? The effects of the visions that were foretold, man. The signs in the heavens, man. the signs of the visions taking place. Because, you know, what like we was reading, the scriptures say precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, man. So things got to come in order. So those are the signs. Okay, we see the uproars of the people. So we understand that the Lord, A, is going to come back soon, and 2, Esau, Edom is going to be taken out of the way.
That's right.
Because it was prophesied these things would be happening in the end, man. It was prophesied that before Esau was taken down, these plagues, famines, sedition amongst men. Who the hell are the people going to be uprising against, man? The man in power, Esau, Edom. So we got to tell you who the hell the man is in charge, because people are going to be rebelling against him, man. That was it on that one.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it.
There you go. Set thy face against Mount Seir. Who's Mount Seir? And don't tell me that's talking about in the back, and that was talking about in those times. No, man. They did that back then, and guess what? We doing it now against Mount Seir. The government of Esau, the power, the ruling class society, man. Because we ain't prophesying against these low-level Edomites, man. They're going to get it too. They're part of the prophecy, but the main ones are the leaders, the ones in power. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 3 rather. And say unto it, Mount Seir that is, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
And so we prophesying against Edom. We tell them that the Lord is against him.
God hate you.
Go ahead. Read that again,
Verse 3, this is the book of Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 3. And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
Yeah, see, the Lord has Esau on his left hand, but he's about to stretch the right hand to smite him, man.
Wow.
Sure.
Hey, you go into the word seer, the root word is, well, one of the root words is shayar, and it says hairy, you know, he goat. And check this out, it says satire, or satyr, whatever. It says may refer to a demon-possessed goat, like the swine of Gadara. What is that? What do you think of when you Baphomet?
Right.
A demon-possessed goat. You know, that's who pushes that out? That's Esau shit, man.
And that he-goat was also in Daniel's 8. Alexander. But it's just
Demon-possessed goat.
Hey, because hey, he's the physical counterpart of Satan, man. So he got those demons that are plaguing him, giving him the plague of the mind to think that he's gonna get away with the judgments that he has upon the earth, man. But this devil ain't getting away, man. Shit, he getting the curses now. Deuteronomy 30 and 7. And we're gonna talk about it, man. Whenever we see Esau down and out, we're gonna record it and we're gonna do a video and prophesy against that man.
Yeah, see, look, I looked up that word. This is pronounced Satyr. It says it's because it said Satyr may refer to a demon-possessed goat, like the swine. You ever watch that movie Pan's Labyrinth? That's what it is. It's a Baphomet. And then I looked that up. It says in Greek it says one of a class of lustful, drunken woodland gods. In Greek art, they were represented as a man with horse's ears and tail, but in Roman representations, as a man with goat's ears, tail, legs, and horns. Satire, but so there you go, man. That's Baphomet. Shit. Literally, that's what Baphomet is.
Esau,
Yeah. Esau loves Baphomet, man.
Verse 4, Ezekiel 35, verse 4. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be
Whose cities? Esau, man. What the brother read in Malachi 1, they shall build, but I shall break down, throw down, man. So if it named Esau, this is the precept to that, man.
Well, someone get where Esau, Mount Seir is Edom, where it is in Genesis? Yeah, just to make that point. And somebody gonna talk shit.
Who's still talking about that?
Yeah.
Talking about the man Esau.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 36, verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau.
Well, in Mount Seir, man. And guess what? America is that Mount Seir. The West, I'll say. Well, you know, you got him in the East too, but the place, his places of power, man.
Right.
We prophesying against America. We prophesying against, the beast. Exactly. There you go. All right. We prophesying against the damn devil, man. Go ahead.
Right.
That was it on that? Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that's the one on that. Back in verse 4, Ezekiel 35, verse 4. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
And you're going to know. And how are they going to know? Because they were told. And they were told, and they're going to be like, damn, the Lord did prophesy to me. Because those guys, they told us that we were going to fall, and now look at us. And you're going to lift up your head and cry to the Lord and say, hast thou but a blessing for me, Father?
Damn.
But this time you're going to say no, because I gave it to you, and you had it. You had the fatness of the earth and everything, and the dew of heaven. Okay, you had the rains on the earth, but now you're getting ready to go through your curses, Esau. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 5, Ezekiel 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing, man. This is why we got to prophesy against him, because he's still putting his foot down on the gas pedal against the Israelites, man. You know, brothers know the thing I do in the parking lots, man. When I see somebody, act like I'm about to hit him with the car. But that's what Esau Edom's doing to our people, man. He's just straight bamboozling us, just ramming through Jake, man.
Look at the TV, man. Look at some of the shit they put on TV. You got a nigga woman on there, fat as fuck, talking, in charge of everything. So-called black man is acting like goddamn effeminate. You so-called Hispanics out there, you just a damn proverb. You just a damn you call Native American Indian. You damn Halloween costume.
Right. Yeah, and this is why Jake in the scriptures is known as the prey, and Esau the fowler. Esau's laying snares out here, man, to trap you damn Jakes, man. And he's got a lot of you. He's even got Satan himself got some of you so ensnared in your mind that you don't even want to talk about Esau no more.
Right. Yeah, I ain't gonna talk about it no more. Well, we just talk about something else. Let's talk about you, niggas. Yeah,
they don't want us to talk about it.
We're gonna continue to talk about it because again, this is end time prophecy, and the scripture says we have to measure the times. And as our scripture says that Esau is the end of the world. We have to talk about the end of the world. This is the thing that we need to be looking for. Because we'll get it, Lord's will. But Ezra was asking the angel, what are we going to be looking for? What do I need to be noticing and seeing to know that this is the end? Okay? Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of his followers. That's what you need to know at the end of the day. Esau, who's Esau? So-called white man. He's in power right now. All of us can agree to that. Okay, even you people talking shit, you can agree to that. You know it's Esau. He's the end of the world, so we have to talk about it. And this is what it says. Ezekiel 35, verse 6. Therefore, as I live, the Lord is living power, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, the Edomites, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
See, and that blood that he shed over all these years is now coming back to haunt him, man. And how is it haunting? Haunting him because we're bringing it out. Two witnesses. Yeah, the two witnesses, man. We was there. We seen him do it. Judge, Your Honor. Look, yep. Pointing him out, Scopay on his ass, man. And anybody who wants to try to take him out of the limelight, we gonna mark your ass too.
Telling him.
Like, nah, we ratting this nigga out to the Lord, man.
Righteous snitches.
Yeah, exactly.
Verse 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate and cut off
most desolate, man.
Shit.
The other nations gonna be made desolate too, but Esau's gonna be made most desolate. God
damn. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate and cut off from him that passes out and him that returneth.
Yeah, see, and America's gonna be destroyed off the face of the earth, man. Ain't nobody gonna be coming here unless you want to be reminded of what happens when you go off. When you wicked. Go ahead.
And I will fill his mountains with the slain men, and thy hills.
And this is prophecies, man.
Straight up.
And don't come with that vocab spirit of, oh, that already happened.
When? What day?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I will fill his mountains, his governments, with the slain men, and his hills we look at that as small governments too. And thy hills,
It's countries, the nations.
and in thy valleys,
Yep.
and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword, and I will make thee perpetual desolations.
Everybody gonna look at you and be like, man, this dude through. In the kingdom of heaven, I mean.
All of
Esau gonna be a dusty ass nigga like he is already out here on the lower level Edomites that we see out here, man. That's how all Edomites are gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. We went by that one lady today. It's completely through. Talking to herself. And his pants look like they were filled up with something that you don't want to know what's in there.
filled up with the diaper.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. She had a diaper on.
Disgusting.
Go ahead.
It says, I will make thee a perpetual desolation. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord.
Hey, you're gonna know it, man, because you ain't gonna be able to build up. And first and foremost, you're gonna remember the words that the prophets were saying. He told you that you persecuted, that you try to cancel, man. The reason why you put the restrictions on the internet, the reason why you're gonna do that, Esau, and here goes prophecy for you jackasses. The reason why the internet is gonna go down is because Esau Edom's gonna be fed up with the words that are exposing him. Okay? How else is the famine of the word gonna come? If the men of the Lord ain't exposing Esau. And we exposing him to the point where he's willing to cancel the internet. Not literally cancel it, but you're gonna have to be plugged into the system.
He has to change the rules now.
Right.
You can't. That all these guidelines are because what YouTube used to be a free platform. You can do whatever you want. Now we know it's because of what the prophets are doing. It ain't because of anything else. Now you can't say this, you can't say that. You start saying something like that. Oh, you gotta get a strike. The one end of the strike, the second strike. Oh, it's terminate the whole channel. Then you make another one, and you keep doing the same. You can't talk about this, that, or the third. You can't say nothing now. You can't talk about this faction of people. So now let's get to the point here. We're just entering 2023. By if we even get to that, you ain't gonna be able to say really anything shit. The only thing YouTube's gonna be used for is entertainment, shaking your ass music. Because you got a bunch of music videos out there that's completely damaging and corrupting the youth of this world. You got naked women on there. You got sodomy, but that 100 million views. But you here it is. You read the Bible. Oh, you can't say that. Go ahead.
Frog, you had something? Yeah, hold that because this brother's gonna ask that. But Quan, go ahead with your precept.
I just got two. This is Jeremiah 51, verse 24. Read. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 24. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all the evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, said the Lord.
And again, that which is that which shall be done, man. There's no new thing under the sun. So the new Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, that's going to happen to it. But it's going to be a time even worse than the judgment that happened to Babylon of old, man. For the same things, for the atrocities committed against Israel. Except what? The brothers just read it. Esau Edom went above the measure that he was given to afflict the people of the Lord, man. He took it another step further because that's just the damn demon that he is, man. He's not satisfied with blood. So now, because he didn't hate blood, blood shall pursue him. Yep, go ahead.
Verse 25. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, said the Lord, which destroyeth all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks and will make thee a burnt mountain.
Like Jezebel, man, thrown out the window. That's what's gonna happen to Esau, man. You're gonna get thrown out the window, and then the dogs are gonna come and eat his ass up. Esau's just gonna be through, man, and it's all gonna be through spirit and power. How about Shimmy outside, man? Go ahead.
Last precept, verse 26. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations, but thou shalt be desolate forever, said the Lord.
Ain't nobody gonna pick up a piece of where America left off and start off on that, man, because there ain't gonna be none left for nobody to pick up on. Not the ways, not the philosophies, not the government structure, nothing. None of that is gonna be around. Esau Edom is gonna be taken out of the way. We read it earlier, man. Right now, he's being allowed to do what he wants on the planet Earth until the Lord comes and destroys his ass with the little pebble to the foot. Okay? You had one?
No, I just wanted to back you up. That's why the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary says Edom is what? He's set for future judgment, man. He's the only neighbor of Israel that is not set to receive mercy from the Lord. Right. So that's why all this talk of is coming up against this devil, man. See?
Yeah, exactly. Get yours?
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49. I'm going to start at verse 12. For thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Thus said the Lord, and who was speaking? Jeremiah, man. So when the prophets are out here, what are the words that are coming out? The words are not us. We didn't come out here with a, all right, this is what I'm going to say. At 4:30, I'm going to start transition over to this particular. No, man. We out here speaking through the spirit and power of the Lord who's speaking through us, man. It's his spirit in us. Paul said it best, man. It's not I who live it, but Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai who's within me. We're dead. We put off the old man. He's in there in a dark corner somewhere in the back of our minds, man. Shut up to never be seen again. It's Yahweh Shai that's running everything right now for us, man. Okay, go ahead.
It reads on, it says, Behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished?
Yeah, see, those whose turn it was not to drink have assuredly drunken. It wasn't. We weren't supposed to be going through all these things that we're going through right now. Not like this. But I mean, we were. If you get what I'm trying to say, but not like this. Not to the extent that Esau took it to, man. So shall Esau go all together unpunished? Shall we just not talk about it and forget it like everybody in this world says? Just forget about it. That's back in the days. Why are you guys talking about that? Yeah, that was wrong, but I'm not doing it. No, man, we're going to bring it out. And we're going to talk about the things that were done in the past. Because now the retribution is going to come for the things that this devil did to our people, man. Now the judgment's going to come. Yeah, he did it in the past, but just because he did it in the past, that don't mean we're not going to talk about it. We're going to bring it up because the Lord's getting ready to come and judge his ass, man. Go ahead.
It reads, it says, Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it.
Why y'all talking about Esau? Y'all stop talking about Esau. That's letting him go unpunished, man. Right. No, we gonna consume his ass with the with the mouth of the Lord, man. Go ahead.
For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall become a desolation.
Yeah, the Lord made an oath to himself. I'm gonna take these niggas down, man. I'm gonna take this damn devil, this pale-faced devil down. The Lord made an oath with himself for what he did to the chosen people of the Lord, man. Go ahead.
For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall become a desolation.
Again, Basra is who? Basra was the chief city of Edom. Again, the same guy. So if the Lord is talking about Esau, should not his men be talking about Esau? The so-called white man, shall we not be talking about him? If the Lord's talking about him, are we not in all holy conversation? Or that's what we should be in. Knowing that all these things should be dissolved, what manner of person are you to be in? All holy conversation and godliness, man. Holy conversation is talking about Esau. Because the Lord talked about it. So we talking about what the Lord talking about, man. I don't know what the hell you talking about. But we talking about what the Lord was talking about and is talking about. Okay? And that's the destruction of this damn wicked ass society, man. Right. And the rulers that are perpetuating this wickedness, man. Go ahead. And it's all fun and games until that judgment come and take your ass away too. Go ahead.
It says that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse. Yep. And all the cities thereof shall be a perpetual waste.
Yeah, see, you're going to be a perpetual waste, man. There ain't going to be nothing left in America to let people know, oh, damn, look, they had, what's that, Dad? Oh, son, that used to be a strip club. No. There ain't none of that shit going to be around, man. Oh, that's where the so-called president used to live. All this shit's going to be taken out, man. The Lord's coming to destroy America from coast to coast. And he's going to use his weapons of indignation, man. The weapons that he allowed this devil to create to destroy himself. Why do you think these devils are talking about, oh, we don't want to go into a nuclear war? You don't want to, but the Lord going to force the hand. You had something real quick? Is that? All right, go ahead and bring yours up.
All right. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, it's like chapter 25, verse 31. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for Yahweh hath a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord.
Yeah, those that are wicked unto the sword, man. And Esau, Edom being the wicked, because we got our people who are wicked too. But the Lord said he's going to give those that are wicked to the sword. So Esau's going to be giving unto himself. Because who's going to, what did the scripture talk about the vision of the beast? The feet was the bear, like feet of a bear. So he's going to bring these damn devils to fight against themselves. This is why we're seeing divisions amongst Esau, Edom. Because the Lord is going to put these devils against each other to the point to where they completely destroy each other with missiles, man. And that's a beautiful narrated story, man. You couldn't make a better screenwrite than what the Lord has written for the things to be done on the earth, man. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 32. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, behold, evil should go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth.
Yeah, it said evil shall go from nation to nation. Yeah, see, man. So, this is going to all the nations, man. Where Esau dwelt, where Esau has gone to pollute the so-called white man, and he's taking control of the whole earth. So that means the whole earth got to get judged, man. Now the whole earth ain't gonna be destroyed. Like you have some clowns which see the spirit of how the Lord works. People don't really even talk about that no more. People don't talk about, oh, the earth will be destroyed. No. Why? And why don't people talk about that? Because the men of the Lord were put on the earth and prophesied against that. That ain't what the scriptures say is gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. And now people don't even mention about the whole earth being destroyed. You still got some clowns talking about how the earth is gonna implode or this and that. Nah, man. But people ain't really talking about that. People are talking about nuclear war. That's what people are talking about now. Why? Because the Lord has pushed that spirit on the earth through his men. Go ahead.
Verse 33. And the slain of Yahweh should be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They should not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They should be dung upon the ground.
Yeah, because the earth is exceedingly polluted under the inhabitants thereof, man. And Esau, Edom being the ruler of the earth, because it's been given onto his hand, this place is polluted because of him. It's been made the way it is, the way the people are, the way they walk and talk and all this, the way they live, man, is because the Esau, Edom is in control. So we got to talk about this, man. We got to bring out his judgment. We got to let the people know what is going to be done for the things that are being done in the midst thereof, man. And that's judgment to these damn devils, man. Because it's because of them, the so-called white man, that our people are in the condition that they're in. Ultimately, it was us, but he went above his means, and he put us in an even worse condition than what our people were supposed to go through the judgment of the Lord, man. He forwarded the affliction, like it says in the book of Obadiah.
I just want to jump up to verse 29. Let's read this verse. Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 29. For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, unto Israel. And should ye be utterly unpunished, ye shall not be unpunished. For I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, said Yahweh of hosts.
Yep. The sword, again, the sword is Esau Edom. And he's going to bring that sword so much that it's going to be brought upon himself. Like the old saying in the world goes, what goes around comes around. Esau slinging that thing out here, and that sword going to come back and get his ass too, man. Because what does the scripture say? The Lord will let until he be taken out of the way. And the Lord's going to allow that boomerang effect to come back and bite him in the ass, man. Okay? So, hey, Lord's will, that was edifying. I'm going to let the next brother come up.
Just going to continue on through the spirit. We're going into, also like it says in Jeremiah, the chapter, it says going to publish it not, conceal it not, going to these prophecies, because ultimately what prophesying was to come to pass. That's the whole point of the prophets, So our job is done when this place is done. That's why we're still here. So our prophecy goes down to the place is taken out. That's prophesied. So with that, Isaiah 13, so was going into how was kind of touched it about that bear. Going into ultimately you go into a kingdom. One of the main signs of its decline is division. No unity. As Frank got that what Yahushua said, the kingdom divided against itself. So this is another thing we're looking for as far as ultimately a catalyst that's going to lead to this place imploding on itself. And then at the final touches is thermal missiles that's going to come. So.
This is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the spirit of the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Right, so going into modern day times, as that prophecy then was speaking about, ancient Babylon. If you go into a little more clear, this is a future prophecy. If Babylon didn't go out, how this is being prophesied to go out going into ancient Babylon. Is that ancient Babylon went out without a fight. It was pretty much a smooth transition. Eating and drinking. Read about that in the end of the chapter. Drinking out of the house of the Lord. Drinking drinking out of the vessels out of the temple. And they got taken overnight. With Darius the Mede. Going to some of that history. Well, the king of Persia was Cyrus the Great. And was it Belshazzar? Went down, became the last king of Babylon. It's talking about, again, twofold. But in this time, when we go into it, it's talking about so-called America. When we go into the Medes, it's Russia, right? Going to like the land east of the Caspian Sea. That region is what happened. Now, modern day time was in that land or area. There's another tribe of Esau. Edomites, so the white man over there, Putin, and all those conglomerates of government. What's the government? The parliament. What type of that government is that?
Russia?
Oh,
Or like a...
pretty much going in their government structure, over there. But
I forgot what it's
also
called.
they're Edomites. They're going to be raised up to fight against.
Like communists?
No, like this. What's the name?
Well, 'cause they were, when it was USSR, they were communists, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But the point is.
Edomite bullshit anyways.
It's supposed to be
I forgot what the term is.
a king anyways.
Yeah, pretty much.
Monarch. All this bullshit they vote and shit.
Yeah, it's just a cover. Because Putin really is a king. He's been reigning how long?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's been there since like early 2000 shit.
Yeah.
It says it's a didn't really say, but it's just a federal republic.
Right.
Still a republic.
So
Yeah.
they're not part of the beast. That's kind of what I'm trying to get into. They're not part of the beast. So that's why the Lord's going to raise them up to come up against the beast. The NATO, the EU, the so-called America, to rise that beast, that dragon, right?
Yep, this is Isaiah.
Pretty much communist now.
Communist.
Yeah, communist. Still communist. Dictatorship. Still shit. Yeah.
Isaiah 13, verse 17 again. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Keep reading. Read that again, because I'll get in Proverbs. King's heart.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
All right, so when you go into war, especially the warfare now with this technology, with these missiles aren't saving nothing. There's no, we're going to just spare this part and we're going to invade and, maybe set up shop here. No, the Lord's going to put his spirit on whoever's in power. Russian Edomites, well, right now is Putin, and the conglomerate nation talks about assembly of nations coming together to fight against so-called America. Nothing's going to be left. They're not going to pay ransom, gold and silver, which is true money. They're not going to regard that, because again, the whole intent is to the Lord's place off the map. Got it, that Proverbs?
Yeah. This is Proverbs 21:1. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whatsoever he will.
Right, so the Lord has control of these kings' mind as what they're going to do, what they're going to plan to do. The Lord's in control, as the same book of Daniel, he ruleth in the kingdom of men. So the whole intent of the Lord controlling their minds is because he wants a purpose to be done. He wants his word to be fulfilled. And again, it's going to be this next Third World War after the MOTB, which is the CHIP, be made mandatory. Right, so the Lord's raising up, again, which logically, no one wants a nuclear war was going into it, but it's not in their power to do so, to make that choice, what I'm saying. So the Lord's ultimately in control. That's how we know the Lord's in control of man and his whereabouts, because if it was up to them, the new order system you can play, and there wouldn't be no dumb nuclear war,
Yeah, it's all bullshit because they have the same kind of. They still have a republic in Russia now. Not before it was a completely a communist country when there was the USSR. But after they broke up, it literally broke into three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. So there's really no difference between them and America. Shit, they got a president, and then they have a Senate, which apparently has two parties, just like America. So it's all bullshit. They're all Edomites, man.
Yeah. Ezekiel 38, and going into what you're going into, verse 9 through 10. Ezekiel 38, verse 9. Thou shalt ascend, speaking of Russia being that bear, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. Thus saith the Lord power, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind. Because you're going into Proverbs 21, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. It says, and at that same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. You know, so that evil thought is being placed in Putin's mind, man, by Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's why he's preparing these other small nations, if you know, these small countries with military arsenal, okay, and also to military defense weapons as well too. He's being a guard unto these smaller nations, man, fulfilling prophecy of what him being that bear that's getting ready to come out of that hibernation, okay, to lead lead Esau into this great division. All right, to shoot missiles from the ends of the earth, man. It's on the 2nd Ezra 16 chapter.
An event before that, they were gonna invade. They said they're gonna go to the city of one-wall villages. That's America. You know, there's no defense system here. You know, the hell, they calling it a crisis at the border. Who's to know that soldiers, sleeper cells ain't coming through there? You know, going to Venezuela and make it. You know, these soldiers can go. You know, if a mom and child can walk all them miles, you know, a trained soldier can. Shit. A band of them, 1,000 of them niggas come through and then just settle in, hop on a bus and make it in New York, you know.
And they're already doing that with cyber warfare. You know, Russian hackers over there, they're already invading so-called America's infrastructure and cutting off power lines and doing all type of experiments when they really do it. You know, it might play out as a false flag, but best believe, you know, that Russian emails over there, they have a map out. And it's going Google Maps, you can search out cities, you can easily figure out a way to kind of, you know, do what you got to do again to trying to invade this country. Okay? Easy to find information. It's all over the internet, you know, so that goes into another part of unwalled villages, you know. That's it. So get on now.
Yeah, with the technology they got now, they can just, you know, it would be impossible for America to stop an invasion. So much borders, you know, it'd be impossible. You know, they could come in through Canada. They could come in through the ocean. You know, they could come in through planes.
They don't even know where that Russian submarine is.
Yeah, they still, so, you know.
It disappeared.
Yeah.
It resurfaced one time and disappeared. They ain't seen it.
I think that was in the Black Sea or Mediterranean Sea.
They don't even know where it's at.
Yep. So, it'd be easy for the America to be invaded, man. Who's going to defend you? The Coast Guard?
It's a beautiful picture.
Yes, it is.
I see you in it. Yeah, you're the biggest thing in it.
It's the book of Mark, chapter.
I'll say real quick, you know, going to, again, invasion, you know, going to Roman Empire, one of the downfalls, they were spread too thin. So you got, you know, these fronts all over the world, these nations, United States of America, these military bases, they have set up all around the world, and their nation's army is spread thin. So here it is, they got home wide open. You know, your first defense is Coast Guard, well, they're not equipped to deal with Russian military or anything.
Yeah, they're for like going to save niggas in the boat.
Russia went in space first. No, they did.
They did. Sputnik. Yeah, Sputnik.
No, before that. That was 61.
Okay, well that's It's,
I know. I'm saying,
whatever.
but Russia. No, you said it right though. No, you said it right.
I know. This is called Sputnik. Yeah. But that was all propaganda to bankrupt the USSR.
No one actually. They never. Neither.
No one went to the moon.
Ever.
That's why they're trying to make. They're trying. This is the second time, and I called it to the spirit. That shit might blow up, but. They're trying to make it back to the moon. They never made it to the moon. That's a lie. But they did. They've been to space. They've been to space.
Man, tell them the truth.
They got a space station, but that's all. It was all propaganda to bankrupt the USSR. But nonetheless, yeah.
That technology was now what is used for these missiles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Navigation systems, but and the propulsion systems. Yeah. But again, the Coast Guard. You know, they're good for saving people lost at sea. They're not good to fight train war tactic. They ain't ready for that, man. Coast Guard, National Guard. They're gonna get ran through when these Chinese and Russian troops come. You know.
Remember that one article we did about that sub that Russia has?
Yeah, Spirit. Just talking about it.
Yeah, that one sub could do damage to this whole country. It'd be over with.
Yep.
You know. So imagine again a whole fleet.
Yeah, just imagine a bunch of boats surrounding America, a bunch of warships. America would be through, because that's what America's doing around the whole world. So how they gonna call all them ships back in time? Yeah. And then you know these allies that are gonna jump on Russia's boat, Mexico, Canada, you know, they're gonna be all right, cool. Bring your soldiers here. You can dock them here. They're already in Venezuela doing war games. Cuba, you know, that's 70 miles off the coast of Florida. Shit.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his borders, who enlargeth his desires as hell, and is as death.
Who had the power to do that? So the white man Esau Edom did that. You know, think about there in China, they've been stuck to that region for how long? For thousands of years. You know, they never crossed over and took over lands as so-called America, and again ran by, you know, ultimately Esau Edom. So the white man, the Spanish, the French, or the British, what they do, they went out spreading their philosophies, you know, and taking out nations by violence. You know, one of those nations which fell victim to that was the so-called Negro Latino Native American man, right? You know, the name of Manifest Destiny and the name of the cross, right? The good ship Jesus, they threw us in slavery, you know, in the name of Pope Alexander and PayPal Bull, you know, and again, that's going to this man, his philosophy, his wine, right? Wine of his fornication, he pushed that on the rest of the world, you know. Again, you see iconoclasm, all stuff is all going to who is the corporate of this is the so-called white man Esau Edom, right?
And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people.
Right, and the product of that is so-called America, but they call it a melting pot of the world. You know, everybody comes over here, all different types of customs, beliefs, in the name of liberty, in the name of constitutional rights and freedom. You know, which also tells us a sales pitch. Because when you go out, you know, again, you're talking about these philosophies of Jeremiah. It says, been that golden cup that been passed throughout the rest of the world. You know, they jump in that wine and fornication. It was something was sold. You know, it was an idea. America was an idea. You know, and that was pushed throughout the four corners of earth as this is the standard of how you should conduct your country, your government, and so on and so forth. But ultimately, it was just a trap. You know, it ultimately get you in debt. You know, so on and so forth. That's going to how the nations got duped. And now they're pissed. You know, and Russia is a prime product of that, you know.
Verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a tainting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Right, so unrighteous dealings and riches gotten by deceit that goes into the kingdoms getting translated. These nations are fed up, you know, and they're Russia and again Iran is the nations, they're like it's in China, right? They're clicking buttons in their head saying, man, this is the problem with the earth. You know, and they're going about politically now, being PC, how to deal with this. Eventually, ultimately, in the back of their mind is war. They're going to go to war. They're already at war. You know, trade wars and verbal wars. You know, this is all war. They just get it put on TV to make you don't panic. Because if you panic, you're not going to function how they want you to function. There's still an agenda at hand. And again, what's going on is, as the Lord did in the Tower of Babel, He's confounding their plans. They can't come together. You know, it's just getting scrambled up. You know, people are starting to pick sides. You know, it's again just going into the playing field of a world war game to play out.
Yeah, you send $6 billion to somebody, and they're at war. You've chosen a side.
Exactly.
You know, send weapons to them. You've chosen a side.
Exactly.
Continuing on, it says, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Thick clay going into heavy debts. You know, this man's going around pillaging and stealing because he has a lifestyle he's trying to fuel, which this man is red. He can't be satisfied, so that's his issue. You know. And going into again these nations, what he do? He's going into proxy wars. He puts puppet leaders, you know, and ultimately they pay tribute to who? The elites, the central banking families. You know, start using my money. You got to use my money. You got to pay my taxes. You know, and that's why again these nations go under because they can't afford to pay the tab that so-called America put upon them. You know, they ask for help. America says, "Oh, we'll help you," but they give them an impossible task to where now they're in debt and now you got to sell your government over onto you. You know, it's the devil, bro.
Verse 7, hey, and that's why Jeremiah 51:7 it says the nations were drunken, and now what? The nations are mad. So even his own allies. Not only these nations are you know in disagreement, so they're upset, but your own allies are coming up against you as well too, man. You're sanctioning these other nations. You put sanctions on Russia, but they have ties with Europe. So now these nations are upset because you put the sanctions on on Russia, but they can't get the goods they need, man. You know, which is fulfilling Revelation 17, the beast shall hate the Lord.
So this next world war is going to be everybody against so-called America. It's not going to be allied Axis powers like World War II. It's going to be everybody against so-called America. Everybody got missiles for to say either bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows. You know, that's wanting to, they're going to shoot at Babylon the Great against so-called America.
Verse 7, Habakkuk 2 and 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them?
Yep. The reason why they couldn't at that time because they didn't have the technology to do so. They didn't have the weaponry. They didn't have the advantage like so-called America did. The Lord showed favor on the so-called America. And so what meant Esau, and that's how he was able to raise up into power so quick, and devour the earth so quick. Think about Alexander the Greek, right? He devoured the earth very quick. That known world, he took it out in a very short amount of time. That's because of advantage. He had weapon technology that goes into the iron, you know, going into man's military, man. He did that by his military. Force with the sword, that's what he did, you know. But now these nations, they've caught up, you know. They caught up with technology now, even to a point now they surpass technology because who's feeding them? They're going to those the nation that's being a guard unto those nations that didn't have the power to defend themselves. They got pushed around by the bully. Now they got missiles, you know. Small countries that you never even heard of. Now they got technology to defend themselves. The S-400, S-500s, S-600, whatever you call it, right? Now they can defend themselves because who's supplying them? That guard who wants to Russia, right? Yeah.
It was going to show you when you brought Jeremiah 51, right? Yeah. Going back, reverting back to that, thou hast been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. And as the brother mentioned, these other nations, mainly America, we're going to focus on America's enemies, have surpassed them in technology when it comes to weaponry. So it goes to show you the Lord is not dealing with America on that level anymore. All right, because they're supposed to be progressing. How can other countries surpass them to fulfill prophecy? Because it's prophesied that Gog and Magog will come up against this place. So the Lord pulled his hand back from America on that level, okay, and gave the Russians that technology to surpass them because prophecy got to be fulfilled, man. That alone right there shows you the Lord. He ain't dealing with this place like that no more. All right, it hit his peak, and now it's just all downhill from there. Okay, because if America was still that pump, if the Lord was still dealing with America like that, it would still be the top at everything, the best at everything. All right, but the Lord, it said, "Thou hast been the golden cup in the Lord's hand," man.
Past tense.
So this is the end of that. Okay, which is why your enemies are overcoming you. All right.
Like the brother was speaking on Alexander the Greek, and the reason why he was able to do those things because the Lord had favored him. Ultimately, because the Lord is bound by His word. You know, going into the blessing which He gave Esau, Edom. So it's all prophecy. The Lord said He declared the end from the beginning. But it's the book of Job, chapter 38, verse 36. Who have put wisdom in the inward parts, or who have given understanding to the heart? And the answer to that is Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. They tell you in the book of Isaiah, He created the smith that blows the coal in the fire. You know, to create the waster to destroy. You know, the instruments of cruelty. You know, roughly paraphrasing. But ultimately, He's dealing more over there in the east now. You know, with Russia now. That's why it's taking off in this technology, man. You see, and see now you see being that golden cup, you were just being used. You know, but He set Himself up as a God, and that's why the scriptures say, "Hey, all the high and lofty should be humble, man." The Lord's He's gonna bring this man back down because the Lord rules in the kingdom of men. You know, the brother was going into it earlier, Proverbs 21:1. The heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. And just as the rivers of water, the Lord turns that mind whithersoever which way it go. You know, that's why He said, "Be thou a guard unto the smaller nations. Let the weak say, I am strong." All these things are prophecy. Why? Because the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men.
I got something real quick. Jeremiah 50 and verse 24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. All right, so going back to what one of the brothers was speaking about, how the Lord is not dealing with Esau, Edom no more on this side. He's dealing more in the Middle East. And that's the Lord pretty much laying that snare for Babylon the Great because it's reached its peak. That's why the scripture said in Isaiah the 47th chapter, they are wearied in the multitude of their counselors, man. All right, they're wearied in their counsel. Why? Because they know that the Lord is not dealing with them like that no more, man. They know that them enchantments is not getting that power back from the left-hand side like they used to, man. Like when this place was first established in Freemasonry, man. Right. You see, they're not attached. You know, them demons are leaving them. You see what I'm saying? And they know that. Esau knows that, man. So it says, Jeremiah 50 and 24, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. And that's what Esau Edom does at the maximum of his potential. He strives against the Heavenly Father and everything that he does. Look at how America is set up. It's completely contrary to the law, statutes, commandments of the Heavenly Father. That's how we know that this is Babylon that is spoken about in Revelation the 18th chapter. Because everything about this place is striving against the Heavenly Father. This is the point, verse 25. The Lord hath opened his armory and hath brought forth his weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldees. So the Lord is opening up that army, which is what? One of the armies of the Heavenly Father, okay, is the missiles, man. So that's why Russia, all right, is that bad. Their military arsenal and their nuclear capability, it outstands Babylon the Great. All right, I believe their missile count is like in the thousands, man. Okay, now America's next, but it's not comparable to that level of armory, okay, military arsenal of that bear that is prophesied to be raising out of that habitation, man. You see?
And then going to, again, the king starts the hand of the Lord, that's ultimately who's going to be pushing the corner, because he's at a point where he got nothing to lose. And that's what someone you really should worry about, someone that got nothing to lose. America got a lot to lose. His Excellency, all the wealth and things that indulges in, entertainment, the economies, is still doing his thing, but again, going to what's going on in other nations, they're getting thrown into shambles. So now again, they're going to be pushed to make a move, and it's to come up against his place, because they're the epitome of their sorrow, and that's a formula of the devil for white men, even against his own people, which you're going to get that. Yes, get the division, because the Lord, like they say, the saying goes, it takes one to know one, even when the devil uses philosophy about catching slaves, the slave catchers use Jake, because Esau couldn't catch Jake. He had some sellouts, put some badges on and start chasing their own people. So catch a nigga, you get a nigga, So the same thing the Lord gonna do with these devils,
It's the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand.
Exactly. So if a kingdom be divided against itself, it cannot stand. And going to the house of Esau, they're completely divided. Inwardly, outwardly, even think about so-called America. This place is, Biden was up there talking about straight up division, talking about all the Republicans and this and that. He's openly saying he's making this country divided, and people are picking sides because it's getting to a boiling point to where something's going to have to happen. And ultimately going to prophecies, there's going to be a civil war. Isaiah 19 chapter says Egyptian against Egyptian, right? The Lord is ultimately crumbling this place. It goes to that wormwood. The place is corroding as we speak. It's the spirits of him.
Press the wrong button. Press the wrong button.
Mark chapter 3, verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand.
Right. And Yahushua would know that because he's speaking in reference to us personally. Because when he passed King Solomon, if you can receive it, what happened? The house split, Rehoboam and Jeroboam. And eventually after what happened, we split. And then once we're split, we're vulnerable. And that's when our nation got conquered. First, the northern tribes, the Syrian Empire came over. It was going through history, and take it down, And eventually, what happened? The southern kingdom got taken down, So that's again Yahushua speaking from. He would know by experience that formula does not work. So especially in any other kingdom, of course, it's not going to work. And that's again what's happening right now with this kingdom.
Verse 25. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end.
Right, and that's why we're going to the picture of why, what's happening is, again, the Lord's raising up, when we go get in Isaiah 13th chapter, to use Esau to come against Esau, the sword against the sword, And that's what, again, as mockery to us, happened unto us, the Lord's going to do it to these devils, Because this devil does, divide and conquer. You got light skin versus dark skin, polarizing the household, men versus the woman, and masculinity versus femininity, and all that stuff. Well, that's what the Lord's doing to this devil. Left versus right, and up versus Babylon the Great. It's nothing but a bunch of confusion. And when you do confusion, you cut it off. Think about a knot, tie a knot. It's confusion. You can't figure it out. It's too tight. You gotta cut the string, bro. That's what it's gonna do to this place.
And that proved that the physical counterpart of Satan, is these Edomites, man. Because at first everything was running smoothly, but now we see the end is near. Why? Because you see the turmoil between the East and the West, and who's ruling both sides. It's Esau and Edom, man. So this is Satan divided against Satan, and now we see that his end drawing nigh.
And even with his pride, he still thinks he's in control. As the saying goes, order out of chaos. His philosophy, he thinks he's trying to be the most high. Remember, you know, he's trying to make it to where he's in the middle, controlling both sides. You know, because who fuels these wars is the elite banking families. How do you think these Russians got all this new technology? Just poof? No, he got fed by elites, central banking families. You know, same with so-called America. They got fed by central banking families. Even going back to Christopher Columbus, how did he get a boat to sail all the way over here? He got fed. Who was it? Pope Alexander. You know, he got fed by the church. You know, the Roman Church back then. You know, got funding and all that to go out there and conquer the new world, so to say. You know, again, it's because the devil tried to play both sides, but the Lord ultimately in control of all of them. He's going to pummel his plan and talk about his enterprise being disappointed. Book of Job, right?
And enterprise, going to that word, is like an undertaking. You know, that's what enterprise means. An undertaking, man. You're trying to take. All right? I got to read it for you real fast. It's control chaos. You spoke about it. It says a state or situation that appears to be completely disorganized, but where some things are under control.
Yep, and the point is with that is the devil wants to usher in the system. You know, his whole thing is about money. He doesn't want to blow up his whole system. No, he's trying to make a justification for why he's going to bring this new world system with the chip, and the MOTB, and the digital currencies, and all this, the whole reform of this new world. It's called a new world order. No more constitution. It's going to be all written, just like 1776. You know, it's going to be a whole nother setup, right? And that's what this devil's trying to usher in. You know, he's doing this by creating all this chaos and confusion. So he brings the order. He already has a plan. You know, these things come up out of nowhere. Poof, solution. The prime example was the juice. I think you had the juice shit in like 2 days, 2 weeks. You know, this is the worst virus that ever came on mankind. This man had a solution right off the rip. You know, because he already had the solution. You know,
the problem was already established before it was even put out. It was all planned, and you know, like you said, you know, the problem reaction solution.
That's what a product is. A product is a problem solver. You know, so with a chip, that's a problem solver. What's going on with the world?
Yeah.
The whole thing that we can do is start chipping everybody, and that's gonna be the whole solution to fix all this messes, man. Created.
When 2020 came around, you see how everybody basically was down with the source. You know, it took a while. People were like, you know, kind of wary about it. But then ultimately everybody was down with the source, so they can go back to work and do regular things, and I just want everything to go back to normal, you know, the normal, you know, and then ultimately they acquiesced and took the source, you know, and it's gonna be the same thing with that thing there, man, with the C hip, man. There's gonna be a bunch of people that are against it. All these old school Christians, they're against it. They calling it the MOTB. You got Christians calling it the MOTB, but a lot of these people they're gonna go ahead and take it because they wanna. But their lives to be, you know, back to normal. You got it.
I got something real fast, Brother Chuck. Psalm 64:8. It says, "So they shall make their own tongues to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away." And we like to bring that scripture out as basically like the whistleblowers among Esau. Like the brother said, the pandemic came, and he already had millions of vials of potions ready for people to receive. Just like that one video that went out, basically how a whistleblower came out and said that billions of these little chips were created. All right, and then a man that brought that information out, that contractor that created all these things, a reinforced Range Rover ran right into him and killed him. All right, so
I forgot about that.
Here it is now. Biden has made this decree basically to produce a bunch of chips or whatever the case may be, but they already got them. Exactly. It's no shortage. It's never a shortage of anything. All right, they just cut the access of to it, like food.
They cut the access. Ain't no shortage of food.
Ain't no shortage of food, man.
Fuck out of here.
They just cutting the access of it off, man. It's never a shortage of anything. The earth is gonna always yield fruit. That's the way the Lord made it. It's always gonna. Now it might not be as it was back in the Garden of Eden in the beginning, but it's always gonna grow. It's always gonna yield something. So Esau is just cutting off the access to everything, man.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, if I can add, what the brother's actually saying is 100% correct, man. Because what it is a marketing strategy to execute a win for them, you know? And like the brother said, what it is when the supply is low, the demand is high, and it's vice versa, you know? But what they'll do is they'll manipulate the system and make it seem as if the supply is low, so to increase the demand, you know? But I got a quick precept just to add on. He said, what are Psalms? He said, your own tongue shall fall upon them, and that's exactly what has been happening ever since the pandemic has happened, right? So this is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. You know, and that's exactly what's being exposed. These devils are being exposed to be forgers of liars, man. You know, they're saying, oh yeah, you know, it's a big pandemic, a whole bunch of people are dying, but then when researchers and different reporters is actually evaluating these matters and then actually reporting it, it's all lies. These hospitals, they're forging records, all right, and it has been revealed, it has been exposed by their own people, okay, even down to the jab. You know, they're saying, oh yeah, you get this jab, you know, you're gonna be good, but it's people that's actually dying from getting that poison, man. You know, and then look who's pushing it. You know, you got Gates of Health pushing it, and Melinda Gates, right? When he comes from what? A family of eugenics, which believe in population control. All right? So here it is shown that they are not only forgers of lies, but they're physicians of no value. Because even down to the jab ain't fixing you up from you being sick. It's being proven that it's just a code. When you check the actual ratio of how many people are actually dying, it's lower than 1%. So here is them showing that not only are physicians of liars and forgers of liars, but they're physicians of no value because it's not been helping. And even more, they basically done, man. The empire, their skirts are being lifted, man. You know?
Yep, and you go into a forge, or a forger is another way of saying a smith. And what do smiths do? They make weapons. So their lies is weaponized, you know, to create profit. You know, and that's again, that's what we're going into. So the market, he's trying to control the market, which he has controlled the market, where he's making a false demand, again, which again, making his problem solver being his device, you know?
Yep. Just to add on to what Jake got to realize is that this devil power was weaponry, man. You know, and when they go into this whole chemical warfare, that biological chemical warfare, that's what we are dealing with, man. We're dealing with these devils using different forms of weaponry to further their agenda, man, to destroy Jake. You know, because that's what eugenics are. Eugenics is to what? The breakdown of population. They believe that the earth is overly populated. Bill Gates' father was one of them. You know? That's it.
Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
And the decree is given by a king. It's not some nigga on the corner. A king has a power to give a decree. Somebody can say, oh, everybody should worship me. You got no power, nobody's going to honor that. You know, so going to the devil, so the white man, he's the one that's in power that has to make these decrees and make it come to pass. Prime example was these mask mandates. Who had the power to say you got to put a mask on? He did, you know? And then the nations follow suit. You know, it's a formula, but where they get that idea from, the philosophy from? The so-called white man. You know, you got Moab doing it. You know, there was a whole starter. You know, there was, you know, it's all, again, these elites, they're all hand in hand with these things. But again, the king gives these decrees out, and the people got to follow suit. And if not, they're going to be in a hell of a hurt for it if they don't. You know, going into prescription, what's the thing about a prescription? We get a prescription from a doctor, you know, or a pharmacist. And when you go into pharmakia, it's a witch, you know? So that's ultimately what these devils do. They're trying to kill you, you know, in some shape or form or fashion. Give you stupid music to listen to. You listen to some jazz, you know, but you listen to some bullshit, right? You should be eating some healthy food, but you're at this damn fast food line. Yeah, you already slowly killing you know? This nigga never helped you do anything. And you think it's gonna help you to save your life because you're dying of the so-called made-up disease? Of course not. You know, so of course, how much more of the chip? I'm broke. You always been broke, you know? Or I'm gonna give you some free money, just take this boy, you know? It's a favor is deceitful, we could say. You know, this man wants to kill you, bro.
Yeah, that's the temptation. You know, it's gonna be that temptation. We're all gonna be tried. Your whole world's gonna be tried. Like shit, man. Damn, might as well just get it so we could just go ahead and feed our family. You got this crying baby at the crib. Hey, man, they're gonna play on all your emotions, man.
just to add on to about the juicy juice situation, right? Why was it? The scriptures tell you what, that the herbs was created for our healing, right?
Right.
Roughly paraphrasing scriptures. So when this situation happened, why was they not promoting that? Not when this country talking about some, oh, in God we trust. Not one time did they say, you know what, let's all have a prayer. No precepts. You know what I mean? Because they're a bunch of liars, man. You know, they're a bunch of hypocrites. Okay, this is why you got these devils talking about what? With this device, we're gonna be able to be better than God. Come on, man. You gotta wake up.
Yeah, the nigga said, the nigga's basically saying, I don't care if we make God angry. We got all this, we got all this technology and everything. That's Edomite. That's an Amalekite saying that, man. Yeah. And these people are supposed to be touting themselves.
Machines. So we're better than God. You know, that's exactly what he said. You know, what Esau can't control is the spirit. All right, the Most High, when he created the human and put a spirit inside of him, Esau can't replicate that, so he has to do it artificially. But then he calls it better than what the Most High has created.
That's some really good. This is Psalms 37. Let's get right to the point.
Shit looking crazy. Okay, oops, I had it.
This is Psalms 37, and right to the point, verse 14. Because going into it, brother's going into, you know, this whole scheme, this whole plot is ultimately against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. It's for you, matter of fact. Slocky, not against, it's for you. Okay, to come down with great wrath, for you to take the chip ultimately. Okay, the M-A-R-K. That's all it's designed. That's all it's for, man. It's to get you jakes ensnared, man, trapped. So you don't receive salvation. All right, you can never come into the truth and be saved, man. All right, and passed over from the destruction of this place. So real quick, this is Psalms 37 in verse 14 to 15. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of an upright conversation. So ultimately, what? It's to slay ultimately what? The prophets, man. Of an upright conversation. That's why everything is being geared towards removing the prophets, man. Okay, because we're bringing it to the light, man. We're out here bringing out the news and the headlines of this man coming down with this wrath. All right, of what's going on, current events. Okay, leading you to what? JT. All right, we're the ones out there prophesying. So he's set to slay the upright, man. All right, so this is verse 15, right to the point. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. So ultimately, their strength is going to be broken, man. All right, in their own device. The scriptures say, Job 5 and 12, he disappointed the crafty counsel of the wicked, so that their hand cannot perform their enterprise, man. All right, so they're not going to be able to perform their enterprise of bringing in this one world order under their image, man. You see, of Edomite supremacy. They're not going to come into that fruition because ultimately it's going to be destroyed through being prophecy, man. All right.
You can read that first verse you read.
Yep, Psalms 37 in verse 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of an upright conversation.
Exactly how they doing that, going into those executive orders, man. The king's decree. You know, he's prescribing a way to ensnare Jake. And I'm gonna go back to the Isaiah 10 that the brother just read. Read the first two verses. Isaiah 10 and 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. You know, so all these executive orders, everything has already been set. Like the brother's going into, you think that they just got this juice? They've been had this juice. They said they ain't been doing no, they haven't had time to test run it. Yeah, they've been doing test runs on how to destroy you, how to overthrow you. Yeah, they've been testing on people, and people been dropping dead. They say, okay, this is exactly what we want. You know, to do these people in. You know, but they covered it up with Trump saying Operation Warp Speed. Oh yeah, we gotta speed up some type of juice that heal the people. But it's ultimately just to put it out there to knock you people off. First,
real quick to make that point, all you bugged out delusional Edomites that still on Trump's balls, all right? If he the one who pushed Operation Warp Speed, what the hell make you think that he's for you and he ain't an insider, man? All right, you people are double-minded. You speak about how the juice is poison. You know those patriots that be saying, oh yeah, we for Trump and this government is corrupt. But this is the same nigga that pushed Operation Warp Speed. He promoted this juice, but somehow he's a patriot and he's for you Edomites, man. What kind of sense does that make? Because they swear up and down that they went to Trump house. When the FBI invaded Trump, they went over there like, hey, y'all ain't finna F with Trump. We here and we ready to ride for him. But this is the same man who promoted the Jews. So you mean to tell me you think he's with y'all? He like he ain't an insider? He's just this patriotic president that want to make America great again, man? You people are done, man.
This Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon.
Yep, with two horns like a lamb and spoke as a dragon, Republican and Democrat. All right, let's go back to the Romans as we always break into Plebeians and Patricians. That's right. Well, the two horns, the horn is on the same beast.
That's right.
All right, they say left wing, right wing. It's connected to the one bird. You know, exactly. Good cop, bad cop. One of the cops come in, hey man, you know, I'm trying to help you out here. You feel what I'm saying? They trying to slam you, I'm trying to help you. That don't work, they send in the bad cop. Hey man, you never see your kid again. Alright? You gonna fucking tell me your ass is gonna be locked away, you never see the daylight again. But they all trying to get to the same objective. They trying to lock your ass up, man. They trying to slay you. So when you brain dead Edomites, man, who think Trump is for you, man, you're done, man. You're done. Alright?
The precept, Psalm 94 and 20. Psalm 94 and 20 says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief at the law? Okay, you know, because exactly what they do. Again, unrighteous decrees. You know, they frame mischief as a law. Okay, things that aren't so, lies, deceit. You know, they put it into law, they prescribe it. Okay, and if you go against it, then you're the enemy of the state. You the issue. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood, which is who? The prophets, the elect of Israel. That the only ones that really matter in this whole thing. You got all these billions of people on the earth, but the only ones that really matter to Yahweh Bashim Yashai is the innocent and righteous. Okay? But the Lord is my defense, and my power is my rock and refuge. So you already know what it is. We go to Yahweh Bashim Yashai at the end of the day. But these, you know, you got these evil, wicked, the devil, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, putting all this extra shit into fruition. Well, this is showing us that we in a time of heavy prophecy. And again, as the prophet we were bringing out earlier, the prophets have to talk about these things, all right, in order to warn the sheep, warn the elect. We have to feed the sheep and let them know, okay, yeah, the enemy's at foot. We're supposed to be watchmen. Watchmen are watching out for the enemy, letting you know, all right, don't fall for this shit. Okay, you're gonna fall for it. All right, it's easy to fall for it because it's, you know, again, as the scriptures say, if it be possible, you deceive the very elect. But we know it ain't possible. But that's to show you how powerful that these deceptions are. You gotta have the spirit of the Lord on you. Otherwise, you're gonna be left out here screwed and effed over, man. Those guys.
You think about it's read in Psalm 94 about you framing mischief by law. Frame is support. You know, think about a skeleton. You frame it supports the body. You know, and again, going to these government systems, ultimately doing these, they're pushing these things on the table to support again the system of the body. You know, which is that going into that beast system, you know, and everything he pushes them forward is ultimately all they do is pass the baton in these legislative positions. You know, here fill up this, it's all they still fill up the same cup. You know, here you fill up this little, it's all filled up to an agenda. You know, and the agenda they want to fulfill again is the new world system.
That's all.
You know,
yeah.
That's all.
Hey, Esau, he's a master manipulator, man. So even with the two horns, you know, on that same beast, hey, this is ultimately, you know, bringing prophecy. Egyptian versus Egyptian. You know, the scripture says he's a cunning hunter, a master manipulator, man.
And even with this whole government system stuff, there's a thing coming out now. They're gonna have AI taking over the position of these legislative government branches, like the Congress. They're gonna have AI doing it. You know, so what the hell's that all about?
Well, that's their plan. That's their plan. If chances are we ain't gonna get to that,
right,
unless they start making moves like tonight. You know, hey, Lord, what do they do?
Right.
You know.
And real quick, if I may say this.
For sure.
As brothers brought out information, it's AI. They work off algorithms. Okay, so basically they said that the computer will basically find out that the Edomites are the problem. The computer figured out, damn, pollution coming from here. This is fucked up. That's fucked up. They work off algorithms. It's gonna find out that the so-called white people's a problem, and it's gonna end up killing them.
Yeah, exposing them.
And show you that the Terminator.
Yeah.
It's happening right now, matter of fact.
Machines turned up, made war, iRobot, they made war against the humans because they found out the humans were the fucking problem, man.
Can you see, check it out real quick, because they have all these AI, they have, I think websites somewhere where you can have the AI draw art or whatever, and it's basically drawing Esau's downfall. It's painting Esau's downfall, and this is artificial intelligence painting Esau's downfall. What would the end of the world be like? Someone will ask it that, and then it'll show like nuclear destruction and all this stuff like that.
Terminator. He said, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said you were made to destroy yourselves. It's in your nature. You know, he asked him what the end gonna be. Then that's when they went into it and started to probably try to stop prophecy. When they got the robotic arm and burned it, and they wanted to stop prophecy.
Well, he's the son of perdition.
What they was doing, but no, it's gonna happen.
He's the son of destruction. Yeah. That's who he is. That's who he's made to be. He's the son of destruction. That's all he knows is destroying. He don't build life. He's a white man build life. This man destroys shit. Look what he done to his weapons, concrete, all this shit. Lord don't like this shit, man.
Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. They ultimately, the trap Jacob, man. Yahushua said himself, he said, a trench has been cast about thee, man. So ultimately, all roads is leading to the sea here, man. They finna starve you people out, man.
iRobot, yeah, his brother put it on here. iRobot, that was that plot too. Yeah, you gonna find out, man.
Yeah, that's a heavy point too. They talk about these algorithms. Like they have all the technology, but they don't put on TV. They run scenarios. They talk about war games. So they run simulations all day about how to try to figure out a way out of the situation. And they keep getting error, or they get something they don't want to hear. You go into slavery, right? Brother say, Apostle Harvey might pop up with something.
Yeah, some shit.
Yeah, and bugging them out because again, there's nothing left. Ultimately, again, that's why Brothers Club 12 we always quote, because he got no other answer besides just killing everybody he sees in front of him.
Unplug the PlayStation. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Going back to Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, and the city, and all that dwell therein.
Yep, and that's going into adding, we read a little bit earlier about that thick clay, this heavy debt this devil got to pay for. First, of course, by touching the apple of the Lord's eye, sure. And in other nations, they put hell on them too. All type of trade deals and debt deals, ultimately to keep them under this devil's foot. And again, that's going into how he spoiled many nations. He's just robbing them blind, robbing you broad daylight. Giving you tickets by a camera. All day, just running money up. I remember there's a camera in New York, and that one camera makes millions of dollars of revenue for this devil. One camera, one red light camera, making millions of dollars. But it's a shortage of this, shortage of that. There's no shortage of wealth this man has, You can't put a number on the wealth this devil has. But guess what? You don't want to fix the solutions, fix the problem of this earth,
The problem is lucrative.
The problem is him. Yeah. That's the point. Get the Isaiah 13. All right, read that again. We'll get us here.
All right, this is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 8. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee.
Right.
Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein.
So again, remember how this country came into power. It wasn't fair and square. It wasn't peaceably. It was by war, lies, robbery, deceit. This land you stand on is not yours. It's so-called Native Americans' land. So-called Issacharites and this northern tribes. This belonged to another people before this devil came into power. Which is all point of prophecy.
I got a quick law for you. Leviticus 19 and 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning.
Exactly. Going to how we work. Some of us get paid bi-weekly, supposed to get paid at the end of the day. That's just one example right now. So we were in slavery. Remember that. It's all thousands of days not working for a damn thing besides a cottage and some snack, whatever you say, snack, some water, bro, and that's pretty much it. Bare necessities ultimately just to keep you alive. So you got to work in the morning. So again, going into the fraud of your neighbor, this man is going to prophecy. This man got to pay for it. I was going to say eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You know, the Lord says he's not mocked, right? So all this money, this man, going to the Job, laborers, you know, pretty much they're crying out. What is that, Job?
Job 20.
That's Job 20, and I'm thinking about James 2. About
How ye rich man?
Yeah, get that. Get James 50. James 5.
Then Job 20 is all the hands of the wicked.
Yeah, that too. You know, so we're crying out because this man's defrauding us. He ain't paying us what we're due. This man trying to put a price on us. You know, say, well, plus R was going to even say hypothetically, this man gave us $1 million. It wouldn't nearly be even enough. Man.
Not even
no.
enough.
That's a slap in the face. You know, and remember, it's his money, right?
James chapter 5, verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you.
Right. So, hey, these think about the Batman movie or with Bane. You know how this was coming up against the rich. You know, they started feeling guilty. Right now, you know, they don't give a damn about we're in another recession. 2008, there's a blink of an eye to then. But now they're getting richer. They don't have a care in the world. You know, so their pockets are filled. And look at the condition of the earth. You know, so that ultimately, that's a side of a righteous judge. That's not right. And what does the Lord think when He sees that? Especially how He got this money. You know, He didn't earn it. You know, the Lord said, hey, ultimately what get into is a witness against you. You know, the evidence is in your pockets, bro.
What? Verse 2, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten.
Right, how is riches corrupted? Because it's by blood, which you say defiles the land. So that's blood money. You know, drugs and all this other stuff, that's a blink of an eye to Esau. He robs nations, you know. He locked up Jake for 30 years, circumstances, things like that, puts off, you know, but they're pushed to a corner, so now they gotta sell drugs, whatever, right? And he gets locked up for forever, go under the jail, multiple life sentences, you know, and this man is again robbing nations of their wealth, you know, having people on the streets starving. You go to San Francisco or these major cities, what do you see? Homeless population like you've never seen before. It's a whole nation of homeless people. 10 cities, bro. And who's dealing with that? Who's taking care of them? Nobody.
We got that over here in Tampa. You go around the corner, right before you get on the interstate. There's a whole area underneath the overpass where there's just people living in tents, man, doing drugs. There's no hope for them. All right, Esau done fucked them over and left them out there. There's a lot of them what do you call them? Veterans, wars and shit.
That's one of the things the Lord hates.
Yep.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, Esau he despises the poor. Specifically, the poor of the Lord is Israel, man. He despises our people, man. You know, that's why he has to, you know, pretty much set up certain, present it as a gift. But, you know, scripture say a gift destroys the heart. He's setting up so-called deals on, you know, loans for so-called Native Americans, all right, so-called Negroes, to, you know, loans out for house. But the whole time, it's just a snare, bro. Esau really hates you things, man. See, he the one that pushed you into poverty. All right, he the one that put you in the slums. Okay, but this is Proverbs 29:2 in the spirit of what the brothers is going into. Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. All right, you can clearly tell that the righteous are not in authority because nobody's rejoicing. There's an illusion of you rejoicing. That's why you people go out and you try to entertain yourself. Right. But ultimately, deep down in your spirit, in the core of your heart, you know that you are miserable, man.
That's right. That's right.
All of you people know that the deep down inside of you fucking miserable, man. All right? The condition you living in is terrible, man. Yep. All right? And you know that you're hoping for it to get better, but its purpose to be destroyed via prophecy, man. All right?
Definitely going to, we just had a person a month, y'all had to pay fucking rent. You know, you had to pay rent, you had to pay a car note for 2008. You know, you're paying $500 a month. You know, again, that's going into misery, bro. And you go into a mortgage goes into a death note. You know, this man signs his contracts, and that's how he has rulership over. He says the lenders rules over the borrower. You know, so that's why he sets a system of lending and borrowing, because that's how he stays in power. He doesn't want you to own nothing. What's the nigga said that shit? He said you're gonna own nothing and be happy. You know, be happy.
You know, you pay for internet, but why can't eventually you just set up your own internet pole and then bam, you got internet for the rest of your life? That's your internet. You don't gotta pay on it.
Can't do that shit.
No,
yeah.
You can't. All you gotta continue.
Electricity, you get your own electricity.
Pay, man.
You gotta pay them for it.
You know?
This is Psalms 10:2. The wicked in his pride, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boast of himself, of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous whom the Lord abhorred. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High.
That's right.
Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous.
Yes.
Thy judgment are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, and under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He seateth in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion. In his den he lieth in wait to catch the poor. He does catch the poor when he drove him into his net.
Ultimate nigga, you know. This guy's in power, bro. He runs the world just like that, you know. Psalm 10, that's his mindset. He curls himself in evil matter. You know, he loves being evil, you know. He loses sleep if he doesn't do some evil, cause somebody to fall, you know. He feels like he didn't accomplish it or had a good day, you know. I didn't fuck nobody's day up, you know. Again, this man, this is the same nigga that's in power. Job 124, the earth been given into the hand of the wicked, you know. And again, the man, he says he has, God is, Most High is not all in his thoughts. You want somebody ruling over you that don't fear the Most High, you know? You want somebody to, you want to live with somebody like that, you know? But this man, he's in power of pushing buttons on the whole vibration of planet Earth, and that's why the Lord ultimately has to come down and take this guy out.
Yeah.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach. You got chapter 10.
Oh, okay, got it.
I'll start at verse 7. Pride is hateful before the Most High in man, and by both do. All right, the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Going to that, you know, he's ultimately talking to us as laws and commandments. That's supposed to be the standard. That's how you're kind of prudent. That's how you're kind of wise. It's supposed to be getting wisdom. It's the fear of the Lord. So if you don't have the fear of the Lord, that's strike one. You can't even start, you know, because that's the beginning. You know, so this man had always read Most High's not his thought, so obviously he's not wise, you know. And what happens is the fruit of that is, again, the word see now, this man created a whole mess of this place. It's called Babylon the Great, the big ball of confusion, you know.
Verse 2. As the judge of the people is, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
And so that goes into, they fall suit the vibration of who's in power. Exactly. You know, like they say, like father, like son. That's why Yahushua called, talking to our people, you have your father, the devil. You know, the lust of flesh you will do because what? Because ultimately, you follow his vibration. You know, so if he's doing this, he's in power. He has all the influence. He's you know, doing these wicked things that he's not getting in trouble for. Look at that. Simple people look at that and say, I'm gonna do that too. That's the best way to be successful. Look, he's the highest level you can be. He's bullshit. He's stealing. He's robbing. He's lying. He's being a cunning devil. Right? So everybody says, oh, let me do that because, again, that's that philosophy that was pushed about the four corners of the earth. And what happened is, look at the earth now, it's fucked up.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. That's Esau. Everybody's under the vibration of wickedness, under the vibration of Esau, lying and stealing. Okay, so you have the children of God, so to speak, under the vibration of lying and stealing. Where they learned that from? That's not our culture. That's not our customs. They learned that shit from the so-called white man. They taking that shit like you know, yeah, niggas killing each other. Where they learn that shit? Conquering. I'm going. This nigga's blocked. Yeah. Oh, they learned that from who's the main conqueror, man? That's Esau's shit. I'm gonna go in their land and I'm gonna make war with them and conquer them. They get that shit from Esau, man. So
that's why we just read in Psalm 10. It says he blessed the covetous from the Lord of war. That's why you see our people out there being niggas, you know, promoting Esau, the culture of Cain, being a murderer and all that kind of stuff, because he ultimately gives you reward for being like that.
I got some real fast. Peace. Oh, 10 and 31. 10 Ecclesiastes in the part Sirach 10 and 31. It says, he that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches? And that's Jake. All right, and we talk about the brothers, man. Very honorable men, and we in poverty. That's supposed to make us, because 2/3 of our people, they in poverty, and as we see, they being niggas, they rob each other, they like crabs in a bucket. But they elect, the Lord willing, we those men, the hopeful elect. Look how honorable we are in poverty. We follow the laws, we don't treat brothers like niggas, we're charitable, all right? So what more when we get riches?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? If you can be honorable in poverty, because that's why Jake do what he got to do. He blamed this, oh, I'm just a product of my environment.
See.
I got to rob and steal because I ain't got it at home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In his mind, he has a legit excuse on why he's robbing and stealing and doing such things, all right? But what more the men that's being honorable when they poor, man, all right? Somebody keep going on and says, how much more riches? So imagine how brothers going to be in the kingdom, man. Brothers already honorable, charitable when they broke. Man, that's why the kingdom gonna be so beautiful, because we gonna make up the kingdom. All right. And this for Esau, and he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty? So we grievous with his ways now. Esau Edom, and he got the whole planet Earth. He's a straight nigga, and look how he treat everybody and treat us. Right. So how the fuck you think he gonna act when he ain't got shit? When he in his lower state? That's why, you know, I was talking to brother, that's why we gonna have to be on his ass tight, because he ain't gonna have nothing. He gonna be, you think he bad now? Wait to see him when he dead broke.
He gonna show his horns for real.
Cutthroat. That's why we gonna have taskmasters on his ass tight, watching him every second, because this man's gonna be dead broke and poor, man.
You make a good point, man, because again, we talking about our people being niggas or whatever. You know how they get down. You know, they don't show no mercy or whatever. But nigga will show mercy, okay? Yeah. Every now and then, okay? But you know how niggas are, they stick you up, you know, but that's the same vibration, but Esau would do it on the purest of levels. Exactly. The purest level, okay? Because our people ain't doing it like that. The scripture say our people, Jesus passes, Jesus is wicked. But you gotta remember, he is being wicked. He's designed to be that way. So when he's in the poverty state, you're gonna see how disgusting and nasty a human being can really be. That's why the brother's saying, us as the rulers, and we set taskmasters up underneath them, we're gonna have to be watching over this man, because he's gonna do nothing but corrupt the nations around him. We ain't gonna allow that shit, man.
You can't have no mix of no animals. Now, so imagine in the kingdom.
Bruh, no, nothing, dog. You ain't gonna have nothing. You ain't gonna allow to have nothing, because you don't know how to have. You know how they be saying in the world, this is why you can't have nothing nice. Yeah, Esau can't have nothing nice, because what he gonna do, he's gonna defile it, man. You got it.
The book of Sirach, Sirach chapter 10, verse 3. An unwise king destroys his people,
Esau.
But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
It says an unwise king destroyed his people, so how much more anybody else? You got your own kinfolk, someone that's supposed to be above you, looking out for you, throwing you down. So how much would he treat anybody else? You don't even know. You know. So it says an unwise king destroyed his people, and that's why regular Edomites, they're through. You know, they're worse than a lot of Jakes. You know, you see them on the street corners, butt ass naked on the side, you know, begging for money. That's not supposed to be so. This is your kingdom. You know, you're supposed to be up there with the king. You should be. That's why he's going into a little bit hot division. You know, these nations, of course, they're going to come up against so-called America. Really going specific about Esau fighting against Esau because they want a piece of the pie. It's literally they're in their blessing and they're cursed in their blessing, you know? And that's why, again, these gun-toed Edomites and they're getting ready to vote and these militias and all that stuff because they're not going to partake in New World Order, you know? And what it says, do the second part of it though?
But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city should be inhabited.
And prudence meaning foresight. So when a behavior is being done that's not profitable, someone that's prudent would say, hey, you shouldn't involve yourself in that because such and such can happen. You know, and that's what we're doing with the judgments of the Lord. We're saying, hey, you shouldn't be doing that because, you know, there's a way that seems right off to man, but ultimately leads to death or destruction. That's what we're telling you. Jake gotta stop being like this damn devil because he's getting ready to be destroyed. So if he's gonna be destroyed, that means you're gonna be destroyed with him. But he's not gonna tell you that because he's the devil, you know? You have something to lose. You have a blessing to attain. This is not your blessing. We always talk about it. Let's book of Micah, rising apart. It's not your rest. It's not for you. This is your punishment. Jake feels entitled. But the reason I feel entitled is because they're not acknowledging their sins. They're not humbling themselves down. You know? And again, going to the prudence is the watchmen. The watchmen are telling you what's coming and what's to come to pass. And when into the book of Ezekiel, if you can hear that trumpet and take you hearken unto, then you deliver your soul. If you didn't, well, that blood's on you, you know.
Verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
And that should be a confident precept unto you, because now you know that this man not going to be in power forever. You don't got to be like him. You to say, choose not, even not to impress him, choose none of his ways. Because why? Because the Lord always tells you and reinforces that he's going to destroy them. Ecclesiastes 8th chapter says that sentence against the evil work is not on the snap of a finger, so to say, sometimes, especially dealing with a whole nation, you know. But eventually it's going to come, you know, because the Lord has a program he's playing on. So key to the program, then you understand the timeline the Lord is playing on right now, you know.
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's a few scriptures just backing you up. This is Job 27:13. It says, "This is the portion of a wicked man with the Most High, in the heritage of the oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty." Okay, so backing the brother up. Okay, we're going into the reward of the wicked, and we're commanded, all right, to go out here and prophesy and warn you people of the judgment from the Heavenly Father that's coming for partaking in this man's wickedness. All right, all the way until it's time for us not to speak about it no more, until the chip is here. The majority of our people are going to take the chip, but we're going into what? This is the portion of a wicked man with the Most High, in the heritage of an oppressor, which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Verse 15, those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. And it's the point. Though he heap up silver as to dust, and prepare raiment as to clay, because that's what this devil do. All right, the scriptures say every one of their heart is deep. This man goes throughout the earth. All right, he searches out the earth, all right, for his riches. All right, and if you're a heathen and you just happen to be there, well, guess what? He might just say he discovered that land, man. All right, and you're half of a human, okay? All right, but all in all, he's heaping up silver as to dust, man. Okay, that's why scripture say he cannot be satisfied. But this is the point, verse 17. He may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver, going into the translation of power. So backing that brother up in Sirach, the 10th chapter, where it says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set up one that is profitable. The Lord is getting ready to transfer all the riches, all right, of the kingdom, all right, of heaven, of Esau Edom, on the planet earth, into the hands of the innocent, being the elect. That's why it's going to say the meek shall inherit the earth, man. And in due time, that's what we're prophesying, inherited in the coming of Yahushua, man. So he's going to destroy this building, all right, and what he's building up the house of David, man.
Back in the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 4, the power of the Lord is in the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
Right, so the Lord set this man up, Esau, to be in the position he is right now, them to get in power again, we're going to favor, you know, to the same favor, that's just favor, we should on to wicked, and we not learn righteousness, right? You know, this man got all the advantages he could to get into power, and now he's coming out of power, right? You know, so that is a result of the Lord being in power, in control. He gave this man earth, you know, since the earth been given into the hand, the wicked, that shows the Lord's in control, you know, and one that's profitable, meaning someone that's going to bear fruit, righteous fruit, you know, and this devil don't bear no fruit. We're going to a sacrifice, you know, the Lord didn't have no respect unto his sacrifice, and that's what he's doing right now. The Lord got no respect to his sacrifice, you know, that's why he's going to say, you got to sacrifice the cause, we're going to sacrifice you.
Verse 5, in the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. God.
Read on down to like verse 8.
No, like verse 8 right now. Oh, no, it's like that was 6. All right, verse 6. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices.
Esau don't check that box, you know. It says, love shall have no ill towards his neighbor. On that slavery sign, hey bro, that was no love. Still to this day, never felt sorry for it. You know, it's just not as the internet, so we gotta be political about it. They never said, let's restore, let's put you back where you came from, let's give you back what you lost. Of course he did, you know. He's still making bread off you, you know.
He do the complete opposite of that. You know, when we was taken down by Nebuchadnezzar, he sacked the temple. You know, burning it down, raising it even to the foundation thereof. You know. Verse again. Sirach chapter 10, verse 6. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Verse 7, pride is hateful before the Most High in man, and by both do one commit iniquity.
Yeah, what is pride? Pride is what the water from his maker. It's read in Psalm 10. Most High is not in his thoughts. This man is, he's out of there, you know. And it goes into, again, pride is not made for man, because what's the fruit of pride is destruction.
Right.
You can't be prideful and think you're going to live on earth for a long time. You're going to die. You know, and going to this empire, the system he built up, the Lord's just doing this as a mockery. You know, he could have easily snapped his fingers and this place be done away with. But that added, what to say, insult to injury. Thinking you were so close, but you're not close at all. You know, you think you're so close to grabbing it, you know, and you're
It's better that way.
yeah, because it makes the laugh better. You know, that's really what it is. You know,
All hard.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got like 2 more verses.
Obadiah 1 and 3, it says, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Right, and he not coming to remembrance where he came from. Just say he's the base of men. You know, you came from nothing. You know, how do you think you got up there? Because again, the Lord showed you favor. You know, it's because he wanted to destroy you. He wants to put Proverbs 16:4. I don't think how's it go? The Lord made all things for himself, and the wicked for that day of evil. The Lord just using you for a purpose. He's using you, you know, and you're up in this high position thinking, yeah, I did this, my hand did this, my wisdom got me here. But that's why it's Isaiah 47th chapter, the Lord mocks you, saying, try to stop, you know, what's coming to you. You know, use your witches, your warlocks, your sorcerers, and all that. See if you can prevail what I got proclaimed against you. You know, and you can't. You know, and that's going into the Lord laugh at you. This is your day coming. You know,
And it's clear as day that it's you, man. You so-called white people, man. Right? Esau, Edom. You know, like the scripture said, those that dwell up in the clefts of the rock. You know, because where you come from. You know, you come from Mount Seir. Okay? And then you went into Mount Petra. You know, after those 1,000 years that you were shackled down, you went into the Russia, right? When you became the Khazarian Empire. Okay? It's your devils, man. That's why for years you try to run from your identity, but all you did was run right back into your identity, which is why you're called the Caucasians, man. Okay? Cave dwellers.
Pride is more mine, is part of the way from his maker. So he said, who seeth me, who shall bring me down? Hey, he don't believe that there is a true power. He don't believe in Yahweh. And Isaiah 47, he said that I am. He said he is the Most High. So now he gotta deal with the only begotten Son, man. So Romans chapter 10, verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
exactly. The Lord gonna toss the ball to somebody else. Went to one that's popular, Yahushua. Yahushua is to say, the kingdoms of this world become the kingdom of our Lord, right? The kingdom of his anointed. You know, it's going into the kingdom of heaven, which belongs to so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. You know, the Lord's going to transition that power. And again, we're going to go into that transition. We're going to wrap it up. Isaiah 13 chapters, and be about thermal warfare. And then, of course, when we go into the nation of our Lord with big old fathership, technology you never see. Because again, going to pride, and this technology you're dealing with, you can't put words onto. You know, that's why now these was going to. Now you got declassified information surfacing now because why? Because it's so obvious that there's something out there that's not in this world. You know, this technology again now it's reappear, disappear, become big, become small, come out of water. You know, on top of it, causing havoc on the earth. It goes into that curse the Lord talked about coming to the house of the thief, watching. You know, when they get that command, ultimately waiting for the shot to come. You know, we already been watching here, but going back and forth at the end. man, you gotta get shackled up, bro. That's right. Is that it?
Finish it off. Because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. Right. Integrity, man.
Is that it?
Isaiah chapter 13.
We're gonna go into which we kind of briefly touched about it, which you gotta read verse 13, verse 16 on down. We say let all things be done decently in order. This man is trying to fulfill something. Trying to fulfill again. We keep touching this do it order. And that do it order involves tripping everybody. Which as far as fetches it sounds, hey man, read between the lines and look at the current system you see now, how you deal with money. When's the last time you really started dealing with cash and dealing with quarters, pennies? You deal with digital dollars. You swipe the card, put a pin, and you move on. What the thing is now is we transition to the end. So now where you can't buy or sell, if you have a device, again, this whole system's already set up. You can have a time to make it on the past, because again, it's going to the hour of temptation, right? Right as the saying, right when it's about to fill his belly, the Lord's going to rain wrath upon it. Very quick, short time after, all hell's going to break loose to it. Which is already breaking loose. As we say, we prophesy part, known part. We know the chips be made minutes before World War III fully breaks down and this place will be destroyed. Right? We're going to go into how this place is going to be destroyed, and it's going to be by the so-called Russians. Okay, so we're going to kind of transition. I'm trying to close out here.
This is Isaiah chapter 13 in verse 18. Verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Right, so you go into the financial system, gold and silver trading, gold and silver, that's a financial system, trading of goods. They're not going to have no care for that. The devil got this whole grand chip thing, whatever they call it, equal coin, it's going to be digital currency. They're not going to call it US dollar no more, because that's already been used and abused, right? Moving on to the next phase, well, these bees over there are not going to want to deal with that. They don't care about it. They don't want to deal with the so-called dollar no more. Nobody's buying oil and U.S. petrol. No one wants to deal with that system no more. That's when they're going to come up against this place.
Verse 18. Their bows also shall dash through the young men. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children.
So the modern day bow is a silo, right? It's a silo, and the modern day missile is the arrow, right? So going into these arrows, to come out of the silos, they're not going to spare nothing. Again, this warhead technology, they say some of these missiles can blow up places the size of Texas. One strike can take out massive amounts of land. These nations going to, headed by Russia, they got countless amounts, on subs, on satellites out of space, loaded with missiles. For what? For the purpose the Lord has, man, to take this place out. And again, no spare nobody. Unless you have that mark of exemption, the Lord don't care. Missiles don't, what do they say? They don't care. They're not gonna break rank, but they're what's the word?
I know. I'm trying to think
of it too, but they don't discriminate. They
don't got a name.
They don't got a name. Once that heat they start bubbling. They don't care who you are. The Lord even take out trees and animals. They're just chirping and running across the street. But that's going to the anger of the Lord, man. The Lord's place is filthy, and He's just gonna completely wipe it out. And it's by this missile technology.
This is 2nd Ezra 16, verse 3. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent onto you, and what is he that may drive them away?
But yeah, that's like the brother's going in on as far as the missiles, right? That the Lord is actually going to set on His place, man. Because the missiles are what? His indignation, all right? And the scriptures tell you that He created the smith that cloth the coat. So those that make the weaponry, the Lord is the one who put it in their minds to make it, because the weapon or those weapons are part of the Lord's army set up for the destruction of the wicked. So now going into the plagues, those missiles is a plague, all right? This C-19 situation is a plague, all right? And all plagues is judgment of the Most High that's set upon the place, man.
Yeah, that's the sense. Who can drive it away? You're gonna change this course. When a missile is shot off, ain't no bad guy in here gonna do anything about it. Let's say no one can do anything about the C-19, man. You can't do nothing about it. Change the course of it. It's already been sent by Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
That's right. Quick precept, real quick. This is Revelation chapter 17. I'm gonna start at verse 16. beast. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate, and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. For the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. All right?
So they came together, you know, the NATO, the EU, this consolidation of power, you know, as under so-called America going into the order rise of beasts. They allowed that, that played out for a certain time until when? Until now. Now they're separating themselves from each other, going to the iron mixed with miry clay. They're not cleaving together no more. They can't see eye to eye no more. So what are they should do? And in the back of their mind, they're gonna have what comes about, you know, Obadiah. Those that are confederate with you, you know, they were dealing with you. There was, oh yeah, do that, cool, we can buy it back, you know. And they behind in the back of their mind, go get this thing, go get this thing. You know, British, French, they're all gonna come up against so-called America. You know,
And what thoughts to the house should continue forever.
Exactly. That's what the scripture said, that the beast shall hate the whore. You know, like the brother was beautifully going in on that whore being who? America. Okay? The virgin daughter of Babylon. Okay? Also known to be what? Spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Right? That's that whore. Okay? That has polluted the world with her philosophies. Hypocrisy. All right? That's that whore. And that beast that is speaking about, the seven-head beast, is going into the NATO and the EU. Okay? The European Union. Those vassal states. You know? Just like how ancient Rome had, this is the revival of the Roman Empire. Okay?
Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
right, so how did ancient Babylon get taken out? Did they get taken out like Sodom and Gomorrah did? They did it. You know, we went into it a little bit earlier. You know, it was a peaceful transition, so to say. They were caught slipping, you know, the 85th chapter, you know, and they got taken out by Darius the Mede, king of Persia with Cyrus the Great, right? You know, they got taken out overnight. Eventually, Nineveh fell, and that was it. You know, yeah, Nineveh. Was it Babylon? Yeah. Eventually got taken out. Yeah. So again, eventually the place fell, but again, it wasn't by a sword. It was going specifically. It wasn't about fire from heaven. You know.
Yeah, I believe that's in the book of Daniel, the 5th chapter, when it speaks about Darius the Mede taking the kingdom. When you go into that word took, right? It's received, because what happened was Cyrus the Great gave Darius the Mede the kingdom, because Darius the Mede was Cyrus's grandfather. So when he took over the Medo-Persian Empire, he allowed his grandfather to continue to reign, and then when they took over that third rib, okay, which that's spoken about in Daniel, the 7th chapter, okay, which was Babylon, okay, because it was Babylon, Lydia, and Egypt. Okay, they already had Lydia and Egypt, and then when they took over Babylon, he gave his grandfather the kingdom until his grandfather died. But like the brother said, what it was taken, and it was a hostile takeover. Okay, it wasn't destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah, which was destroyed with fire and brim. Okay, which this place is going to be.
The book of Genesis, chapter 19, verse 24. Then Yahweh rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground.
Yeah, so again, we need to put how this place Babylon going to be taken out. Just how most of the outside really rain, fire, brimstone from heaven. So how's that going to happen? This time it's about thermal missiles, right?
To add on to the brother's point, it's actually archaeological proof, right, from researchers, okay, that actually looked up Sodom and Gomorrah and discovered, you know, bones that was bodies that was actually divided from their waist. All right, and when you go into the evidence that they found at these sites, they ran into sulfur, which was clay that basically was burned so the fire from the clay, all right, the fire that hit the clay was so hot that the sound of the clay sounded like glass. Okay, and then what they did was they compared that material, okay, to a nuclear blast site, and it was completely identical. Okay, showing you that the Lord had destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah with that level of technology back then. So how much now? How much now when he has increased the nuclear weapon capability, man? Okay?
Yeah, that's why the scripture say the elements shall melt with fervent heat, reserved unto fire, man. So back in that brother up in the book of Isaiah, it says this shall be a fire, because the end is reserved for thermonuclear warheads, man. You see, that's the end game for Babylon the Great. That's beautiful. Why Proverbs 16 says he's reserved for the day of judgment, man. You know, that lake of fire is ain't gonna be nothing pretty about it, man. You know, that's why we're doing this work, so we can escape the judgment, man.
Right.
You know.
2 Peter chapter 2, verse 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly.
Right, so the Lord made them an example of what would happen if you conduct yourself that way, you know, and that's supposed to put fear in the people, which it did at that time, to not live like that, because the fruit of that living out they were doing in Sodom and Gomorrah is fire from heaven. The Lord did something crazy that's never seen before, because upon this place, so again, as an example of judgment, what it says in Psalm 9 chapter, 9:16, the Lord is known by the judgments, you know, that he does, you know, so that's the judgment. That was a great judgment. It's still spoken on to this day. Like Brother said, it's archaeological proof. See, it's an actual event that happened. Does anybody live there? Absolutely not. You know, it's nothing but sulfur over there, you know. So how much we want to talk about America, this place is going to be spoken for a long time, you know, but eventually, even still, no one's going to live here no more. That's going to the Lord says he's going to take the place out, just like they saw before.
This is Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all the things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies.
Right, so going into we're going to that Third World War, which after the chips made mandatory, these nations, of course, going to be gathered in the Valley of Shabbat, you know, gathered and fighting against each other, you know, shooting missiles and all this other stuff. Well, guess what? In the midst of that, Yahushua is going to return. You know, talk about that. Say that's 13th chapter. You know, all the multitude of nations come together to fight. They're going to turn and fight against the Lord. You know, they're going to say that's our problem. You know, talk about Ronald Reagan with that speech. You know, he was speaking of who? He was speaking of other nations. You know, about there's going to be something coming that when fighting against each other and say we're going to put our differences away and say let's fight that. That's the real threat. You know, and that's the Lord's going to punish everybody. You know, when he comes. You know, and reward his servants and prophets.
He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter.
So remember, this is a prophet. That means this already happened. You know, we're just waiting for it to manifest and play out on earth. You know, but these judgments has already been written thousands of years ago. The Lord plays out his movie in his time, you know, on earth. And now is that time where this is what the Lord's talking about. We'll go into specific who he's talking about. And he's going to single somebody out, right? Go ahead.
Verse 3. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with blood, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth off the vine, and all as a fig from the fig tree.
Right, so going to, again, this technology that we have now, these missiles, it's going to literally dissolve the heavens, you know. It talks about the water, divided by the water, right? That firmament, you know, going into, again, the heavens, man, it's going to be burnt up. Even all, of course, the things, the contents below it, you know, if it's going to a mushroom cloud, it's a vacuum, you know, and all that heat rises to the top. And what's that doing to the firmament? It's burning the heavens up, you know, and it says as a scroll, you know, to give you an idea what Isaiah saw, you know, and he's proclaiming it, saying this is going to come to pass, you know. And again, it's talking about now in this time, the result of nuclear warfare, you know.
Verse 5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea.
Yep, so going into my sword bathed in heaven, we're not just reading Isaiah 13th chapter, the Bible will be taken out just like the Lord took out Sodom and Gomorrah. Again, going to them hailstones that came from heaven, where did it come from? It came from heaven, came down upon that land of judgment, for judgment. Same thing is going on to this place. These missiles are going to go up into heaven, and they're going to come down, you know, going to the trajectory of these missiles, just like an arrow, you know, follows the curvature of the earth, you know, and it's going to come down and hit what's so-called America, right? And not just one, right? No post-apocalyptic for so-called America. No post-apocalyptic movies in America. This place is going to be done. You're not going to be able to walk, breathe, anything in this place, you know?
And upon the people of my curse to judgment.
Who's the people of my curse? Get that real quick. Malachi 1:4. I know you got it earlier. You gotta be specific, right? This is singling somebody out. Break this down, so-called Christians. Who's talking about vocab alone? Who's just talking about? Did this come to pass? Will this fulfill? What? Give me a date. Why is he talking about Idumea? They're what? They're set for a great judgment. That's why they have to be on the earth, because that day is talking about Idumea, Esau. He's in power right now.
The book of Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
And that's what he thinks. That's why he has doomsday bunkers. He's going to come out like a phoenix in the ashes and rebuild back better. That's what they're talking about. But what did the Lord say?
Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they should build, but I will throw down.
Exactly.
And they should call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever.
Who's that? Esau. So where is this guy? That Eminem song with the world Edomites stand up. You know, they're in power, bro. And they're doing what they're doing. Again, we're following the script. You know, context clues. He's gonna do certain things on the earth. He's gonna put certain things on the earth. He's gonna be a certain way on the earth. He's gonna treat the Lord's people a certain way on the earth. He's gonna treat his creation, the Lord's creation, a certain way on the earth.
Right.
And context clues leads to who? Esau. Because he has the power. I'm not talking about some nigga that's stepping on a bug, all right, on the street. I'm talking about this man that's controlling the world with wickedness with his left hand. Getting counsel from the spirits to even say. He's not going to the Lord saying, what should I do? No, man, he got a chair open. You know, going to the begging families, the Rothschilds. They got 13 seats. And who's sitting on 13 chairs? Satan. He gives them counsel, man. His stuff is far over your head. It's a joke to you, but these are the same people that run you in every facet of your life, you know? And the Lord, again, he says to come upon them, the people of his curse, right, for judgment. Read that with
Verse 6, Isaiah 34, verse 6. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of the rams.
And why is it on the altar? Because it's a sacrifice. We're going into it. What do you do with that sacrifice? You burn it. It's supposed to be a savor unto the Lord. You're supposed to burn the fat. You're supposed to burn the kidneys. You're supposed to burn the blood on the altar. You know, and that's going to symbolically this land that the Lord's going to sacrifice this place. Right?
For the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
Yep, goes out there. So great slaughter in the land of Idumea. We went into the chief city of Babylon, talking about the Chaldea, right? With Monday, chief city of so-called white man, and Esau is America. Mystery Whore Babylon, Babylon the Great, the impending judgment, Revelation 17th chapter, went into that has not been fulfilled, right? It's coming now. We go into it, man. We're breaking it down as clear as day. And that's what's lingering over this place. This man got no time. He's dancing around, scrambling, trying to figure out to extend his time period. He got these niggas talking about doomsday clock. They have no control of the times of what the Lord's bringing, man. They're going to just keep on procrastinating, man. The Lord says he's going to show them the days for our sake. You know, put his man in the corner to where he has to put what's to put out that device, right? What he wants to do, he's itching for it, right? But again, it's on the Lord's time, man. And when that time comes, those will be prepared. But ultimately, the Lord said in Revelation 3:10, he's going to keep us from that hour because we kept his word. We don't have to worry about all this stuff that's coming on earth because it's not our judgment. You know, we're serving our punishment here. Fear and trembling, serving the Lord, trying to keep his ways. And this nigga's trying to make us be heathens again, you know, make us go backwards. He's talking about you're not Israelites, you're black. What are you talking about? Go smoke some blacks, you know, go do some new dance moves. No, man.
Right.
You know, we're Israelites, man. We're going to boldly proclaim that because why? Because the Lord put the Spirit on us to, hey, man, the Spirit bear witness. And then ultimately what we're speaking is coming to pass. So now what? You can't gainsay, resist. At least the last thing the devil going to do is try to put hands on us. And that's what the Lord going to wrap this thing up real quick. You know, correct. So pretty much that's it. So with that, those words be edifying. As always, when they give all praises. Double honors again to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings, elect of Israel. Shalom.
Shalom.
Ball.
Ball.